the streaming,
Yay!
and confirm that we're live. We are. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels, Saturday edition. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm going to be the Dungeon Master for this campaign. Our players for tonight, Nobilis Reed playing Marcher Northwind,
Hello.
Lee Burdett playing Iggy,
Hello!
and James Silverstein playing Doxrider Nothing.
Hey.
So this is only half of the party that we intend to have for the full campaign, but we're starting off a little differently with just half the party. So we're going to be playing the newest adventure module for Dungeons and Dragons, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Ooh. And this is a tale of paranoia and isolation in the frozen north. And also, of course, because it's Dungeons and Dragons, crazy supernatural monsters and gods and stuff. So, one thing to note before we proceed is let's talk a little bit about safety tools, especially because this is a game that's going to have some horror elements in it. So first, those of you who are playing with us tonight should note on the bottom right hand of your Roll20 screen, you should see the safety deck. Now, this is a safety deck that I have actually ported over from another game. But if I'll just pull it up on the screen. There are 3 cards that we have to choose from here that any of you should be able to grab and play onto the screen at any time. If you choose to play one, I hope you will put it somewhere where I will see it, because I would really hate for you to be feeling upset about something and playing the card and I just didn't notice it because you put it down in the corner or something like that. But yeah, so stop means I don't like this. I'm not having fun anymore. We need to change whatever just happened and not have it go any further like that. If anyone plays that card, we'll stop immediately. We don't have to interrogate why it's bad. We'll just find another way to make it go. It's fine. Slow down is not stop, but let's let off the gas a little bit. Let's maybe whatever was just happening, let's maybe put a little bit of a veil on that. We don't have to go into quite so many details, or we can soften it a little bit rather than eliminating the plot point entirely. And then, of course, because this is a horror game and the characters are supposed to be terrified and probably not having fun, even at the same time that the player is having fun. That's what Keep Going is for, is I am role-playing my character right now who is very scared and upset, but I, the player, am not. And I want to just make sure I'm communicating to everybody else that that's the case. So Keep Going means I am acting right now like I'm scared, but I'm actually fine. So you may not ever feel the need to play that card, but that's what it's there for, just in case. So that's just going to be available if anything comes up. But we had a session 0 where we started to kind of build these characters, and we talked a little bit about that already. So without further ado, is everyone ready to begin the adventure?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I will begin by reading the section which is appropriately titled Cold Open. And let me actually set the ambiance here. So got some, I think this one starts a little slow here. Got a little bit of winter wind playing in the background. Here we go. Icewind Dale has become trapped in a perpetual winter. Ferocious blizzards make the mountain pass through the spine of the world exceedingly treacherous, and this land has not felt the warmth of the sun in over 2 years. In fact, the sun no longer appears above the mountains, not even in what should be the height of summer. In this frozen tundra, darkness and bitter cold reign as king and queen. Most Dale residents blame Auril, the Frostmaiden, the god of winter's wrath. The shimmering aurora that weaves across the sky each night is said to be her doing, a potent spell that keeps the sun at bay. Dale folk live in a scattering of settlements known as 10 towns. The drop-off in caravans coming from the south and travel between settlements in this never-ending winter has left everyone feeling isolated. Although each town has resolved to appease the Frostmaiden with sacrifices of one kind or another, no respite from winter's fury seems forthcoming. For adventurers such as yourselves, 10 Towns is a place to test one's mettle, and, in the spirit of heroes who have come before, to leave one's mark on this frigid, blighted land. So, as we begin, the mountains to the south of 10 Towns are known as the spine of the world. And the journey out of those mountains is exceedingly difficult, especially now that the average temperature during the day is minus 49 degrees Celsius, which is about minus 45 Fahrenheit, if that matters to anyone. Still both cold. Mm-hmm. And that is a very difficult journey for most in Icewind Dale, but less so for Marcher Northwind. You've been making the journey toward 10 Towns, and although you are used to roaming the wilderness on your own, this is a longer journey than you usually take. And it also, I think, feels a little different knowing that you're going there to stay, not to just on a hunting expedition or a scouting trip. You've left, and you're going to a new place. And you can see in this relatively clear, starry sky, beneath that, you see lights of the towns laid out ahead of you. What does Marcher Northwind look like, and why is it that the cold doesn't bother him so much?
Marcher Northwind is fairly short, actually, only about 7 feet tall. Not particularly broadly built. Pale, almost blue skin. And instead of hair, he has a ridge of white horns running up the top of his head. It is...
Occurred to me, sorry.
It is a legacy he's had since he was born. And it is the main reason he does not bear the name of the clan that raised him, but rather Northwind, just a name given to someone who has none. He's dressed in warm furs, but prefers to keep his hood down, better able to see and hear what is going on in the world around him, because being alone, he is the only one who can, there's no one watching out for him right now.
So it is actually difficult to see because it is dark. The starry sky is above on this relatively clear starry sky, but it is in fact 9 a.m. Right now, the most light you ever get during the day is from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. when just a hint of twilight peaks above the mountains. But for now, you're making this journey in the dark. Do you
Go-
carry any light with you, or?
Marcher speaks a word, stick, and the end of his staff brightens up. Not quite as bright as a lantern, but enough to see where he's going.
And on this morning, you know that you will finally reach the nearest of the 10 towns, East Haven. And you see it there along the shore of Lac Dinishir, the lake. And you are approaching it, seeing it below you, frozen. And in fact, let's go ahead and no, okay. I was trying to decide which map to switch to, but we'll leave it there for now because Docksrider,
Yes.
you have your own reasons for leaving home,
Mm-hmm.
and you have made your way to East Haven in what I imagine is a semi-arbitrary way, right?
Yes.
You've been wandering a little bit,
Mhm.
looking for. Maybe you'll know it when you see it.
Yes. Maybe I will.
But since your arrival in East Haven, did you get in last night, or are you just arriving now?
I think I got in last night. I think that some time was spent trying to find a place to bed down, but a large enough handful of money will usually get you what you need.
Oh, indeed. And here in East Haven, oops, let's zoom back in on all that a little bit. Here in East Haven, you ask around, and what people will tell you is, you need a room to stay. You find a room at the White Lady Inn.
Sounds good.
And so you paid for your room, and by 10 town standards, pretty nice. Nicer, even, you might say, than home. But, of course, that's it's all relative, because what we're talking about nice in this case is not drafty, roaring fireplace, plenty of furs to line the bed, comfortable, and you got a good night's sleep. But now, you know that it's time to get up and figure out what you're going to do with the day.
Of course it is. Well, one of the things that Docksrider likes to do when he doesn't have something specifically on his mind, no specific goal that requires immediate attention, is to find the local market and watch people.
Okay. Well, one of the things that has been one of the problems facing you in the last couple of years, not that this problem for you is the biggest problem about this, but it's cold outside. There's not a lot of good people watching because, frankly, anyone who is outside is so bundled up as to be virtually indistinguishable from any other person. And they're generally not lingering or doing other sorts of chats. They tend to hurry from one destination to another when they go outside at all.
Well, let me ask you this then. The White Lady, does it have a bar?
It does have some, but it also, there is a tavern in town known as the Wet Trout. And
Well-
you're told if you want a place to stay, you go to the White Lady. If you're looking for a drink and chit chat, that's where you go to the Wet Trout.
Well, that is the place to watch people then.
All right. So I think you're heading downstairs, preparing all of your winter gear to bundle up and keep yourself firmly insulated for the several minutes it will take to walk across town to the Wet Trout.
Of course.
Iggy,
Yep.
it's very nice and warm under all those furs, and it's very comfortable, and you slept really well, and you're very cozy. But you are immediately awakened when you hear the sound of a sword clattering to the floor, the wooden floor. And when you open your eyes, the sword has not clattered to the wooden floor. It's simply leaning against the wall where you left it.
Why did I end up with such an opinionated traveling companion?
Hard to say, but you know that those trappers, you couldn't have asked them to be more generous, frankly, even though you had no means of repayment. They certainly arranged for you to stay the night here in comfort to get recuperated, but you know that free ride is done. You're going to have to figure something out for yourself today. So you are also staying at the White Lady Inn. Are you getting ready? Although, one thing I should have asked Docksrider, but I'll come back to that, is Iggy, what do you look like as you emerge from under these furs in this cozy bed?
I think mostly it's just a lump of shapeless furs that with two large yellow eyes peering out, kind of squinting at the sword, and then they sigh and just kind of shrug out of it. They're still dressed in most of their clothes except for the boots and the serious outerwear. But it is really nice and warm, and it would be really, really nice to just crawl back in bed, but opinionated sword is opinionated. So, pretty much, black hair, golden eyes, and tan skin covered by what looks like just the plainest of plain traveling clothes. But other than that, the hair comes down to about here. But other than that, just not. It's I'll admit it's very hard for me to describe Iggy based on his original character model, but yeah, he just throws on his outerwear,
So
goes down and goes down and prepares to see what he can do about a meal.
great. One quick question, and however you want to do this is fine. But we did talk about they them pronouns for Iggy. Would you like to
Yes.
stick with that, or okay?
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna try they them and try to
everyone-
stick with that.
Yeah. So it's possible people will slip, but that is what we would like to use for Iggy.
Yes.
All right. So as you are making your way down, let's jump back to Docksrider enough to get this physical description. So as you are in this common room before you head out, you realize that you're entitled to a bowl of fish stew before you head out. It
Fantastic.
looks hot and like living in 10 towns, you eat a lot of fish stew.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
This
having
is,
oatmeal in the morning.
yeah, you have definitely had worse fish stew than this.
Hmm.
That's not to say that it's great,
Right, but it's a
but it's
staple.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you indulging in that?
Oh gosh, yes, of
Well,
course.
so what does Doc Strider look like as they enjoy their
Um,
fish stew?
Doc's Rider is about 5'9", half elven. You can kind of tell by the ears. Um, Dark eyes, kind of reddish brown skin, dark hair cut, pretty short, and a nice kind of goatee beard. Um, wears wears furs that have been dyed sort of a greenish color with nice embroidery around the edges of the sleeves, and also around his right wrist there's like a charm bracelet that has some little bells attached to it. So whenever he gestures with his right hand, there's like a little tinkling of bells. Um, uh, and that's about it, I think.
So, you are eating your fish stew, and you had met the proprietor of this particular inn, a human by the name of Bardaban, and he's kind of the all business type. He's
Mm-hmm.
nice enough, but he's just not interested in chit chat. If you need anything from an in perspective, he'll get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't want to be your friend.
Fair.
However, there is a halfling here in the common room with you who has every indication, and I think you know the type, of a layabout who makes his money grifting tourists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's got a loot.
What?
He's got a loot.
Ah, okay.
He had been kind of plucking it, lost in thought a little bit, like he was still kind of half asleep, but sort of plink, plunk, plunk. Oh, hang on, let me go ahead and get some Mountain Tavern music here. And as he kind of glances around the room, he sees you sitting down with your stew, and he just says, "Oh, I didn't meet you last night. Uh, my name's Ronaldo." And he kind of he hops over, and he reaches up to shake your hand.
Yeah. Shake his hand. Uh, Doc's Rider.
Ah, that's an excellent name, if I must say.
Well, so's yours then.
Well, thank you. So, are you staying in this lovely White Lady Inn for long, are you?
Well, a few days at least.
Excellent. So, I don't suppose you know what the inspiration for this inn's name might be, do you?
I suspect it would have been a lady who was white.
Well, in a matter of speaking, it's actually a ghost story.
Oh, well, I'm all about ghost stories. Why don't you tell it to me?
So, Iggy, this is about when you come down the stairs as well, and you see this half elf sitting at a table with a halfling, standing next to him, and the halfling sees you coming down the stairs and says, "Oh, you! I'd love to tell the story to both of you if you've got a spare moment and you're interested in local culture."
I would be delighted. Let me get some breakfast if the proprietor is amenable, and I will be with you presently.
Oh, of course. This sort of story is best enjoyed over a hot meal, of course.
When he says that, Doc's Rider actually like slides what's left of his bowl of stew or over towards the halfling to see if he wants some.
Oh, thanks. I'll get some of my own. I don't need yours. I
Oh,
appreciate
all
it,
right.
but I'm not looking for handouts.
Oh, just sharing over a story. But if you've got
Oh,
your
sure.
own,
No, I'll get my own later. Believe me, I'm good for that. But I appreciate the thought. So, as Iggy, as you manage to make your way over to where they've got a big iron cauldron, and using a ladle, they slurp a a bowl full of like thick, kind of sort of cream colored, lumpy stew. It smells edible. You have no idea what might be in it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
The proprietor nods curtly, and so as you bring it back over to the table, the halfling hops up on one of the benches across from you, and uh, he says, "So, it just so happens that the White Lady is a ghost that haunts Lac Dinishir. There's lots of versions of the story, of course, but everybody knows this part. The White Lady was once a lady of nobility who came to find herself in 10 towns, but her husband was a miser, and he didn't allow anybody a single red cent that he didn't have to give them. Held on to anything, penny pinching. And that even came to how he treated his wife. She was accustomed to the fancy things from down south. And all of a sudden now here she is married to someone who grumbles and groans at turning over the slightest bit of silver. They didn't get on very well. And so one day, she makes up her mind to leave her husband. And she flees in a boat, taking the East Haven ferry before, obviously, the lake froze over. And across the lake, you see, we get a lot of wind coming off the glacier here, and the lake can get rough sometimes. And so in her flight, she was distraught, crying over the railing of the boat. And then a swell came up, swept her overboard, and she drowned in the lake. Well, well, it gets worse, you see, because that would be a tragedy all by itself. But not necessarily what you would expect to have a ghost, for a ghost. But the scandal, you see, was too much for her husband. So he decided to pull up stakes here in East Haven, gathered together all of his hoarded treasure, and he was moving on himself. He also took the same ferry. And then, as he crossed the point where his wife had tragically drowned, something happened. No one knows for sure, but everyone knows that the miser went overboard along with his hoard of treasure. And that treasure has got to be still at the bottom of Lake Dinishir, if you ask me. But everyone knows that the White Lady can be seen walking the surface of the lake in the place where she and her husband both drowned. Pretty thrilling, eh?
Oh, yes.
quite the tale.
Well, just so happens that I am an accomplished medium. And I have invited some of the locals and some of the other guests here at the inn to attend a seance tonight, where I will attempt to channel the White Lady herself. Who knows what secrets she might be able to share from beyond the grave?
That's quite exciting.
So, can I count on you?
To do what?
Attend, of course.
Oh, well, we're staying here anyway, so I don't see why not.
Excellent.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. I will be interested to see this carried out.
All right, so I know there's a bit of business going on at the town hall. Later, I honestly, I haven't asked anyone what it is exactly. I've been too busy planning my own thing. But obviously, what little bit of daylight we get these days, I'm going to be starting once that finishes. So it'll be into the mid-afternoon, evening. If you're hanging around dinner time, you'll be right in time. All right? Splendid. And then he kind of hops down, and someone else has just come down from the rooms, and he immediately wanders over to them and says, "Do you happen to know how this inn got its name by a chance?" and so you can definitely like it would not surprise you to learn that this seance is something that happens once a week.
Yeah.
The in-house entertainment.
Yeah.
He's their small, medium, at large.
Well done, sir.
Yes.
So, Marcher, you are making your way in. Now, I want you to tell me, as you came close to East Haven, did you? So you're arriving now, just at the threshold of the little bit of twilight that you'll get for today. But was that because you walked all through the night, or did you make camp somewhere nearby last night?
I think given that the night is like 20 hours long,
Well, I mean, it's dark for 20 hours. You still got to get stuff
Yeah.
done.
no, what I mean is, when you find a good campsite, something sheltered from the wind, place where you might be able to scrounge up some firewood and have a little fire, and not be too visible to predators prowling around, someplace defensible, you take it. You take advantage of the rest,
Yeah.
and then rest as much as you can. You can't spend too much time there, but gather your strength, warm up a little bit. I mean, Marcher doesn't get hurt by the cold, but it doesn't mean that he likes it. And rest a bit and then move on. And if you can sleep, then you sleep. And the schedule is flexible. So I don't know how long it's been. What I imagine happened is that the first time he's caught sight of the city, he probably was like, "All right, I need to go there." So he's probably been moving for quite some time when he reaches the fringes of the city.
Okay.
Or the town or whatever. Yeah, it seems fairly extensive. I suppose it's a town.
It's pretty big. Well, here's a question. Has Marcher ever been to 10 Towns at all?
He's pretty young, and it's a long way.
Yeah.
It's a really long way, and unless there is a group of the if there is a regular, however that is, trip to go there for things that they can't make for themselves, then he might have accompanied that or scouted for that or what have you.
Yeah. I would
and
say
knows
it's
the way, but
it's more sporadic than regular, but it happens. There's occasionally need for some things that can't be made at home. But yeah, so
I think it's more interesting for me if he hasn't
Right.
been. He knows where it is and knows how to get there, but hasn't actually entered the place.
and you've probably heard from some of the others that have,
Yeah.
some of what to expect, but you're seeing it kind of in person for the first time.
How about if Rahi gave him the name of someone to look for there?
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think who that would be. Like, I mean, I buy that she would know, like, the important people in town. Um,
Yeah.
she might have told you to find the town speaker. And
Okay.
she would have explained that that is like a chief in 10 towns.
Okay. Okay.
It is the person who's in charge. And so the person that you want to look for is going to go by Speaker Daneth Whalen.
Okay. Okay. Then that's the name he's bringing to mind as he crosses into the town proper.
Right. So as you are, entering, the town, you're coming in kind of from the south. So down, down here, you'd be coming in that way. You notice that for all the enormous number of buildings here, it is nonetheless just like deathly quiet. Like you see like torches here and there, and through some of the windows you see light, through, cracks in the shutters, but by and large it's very quiet here. There's not a lot of activity. You're kind of used to. It's one thing when you're out on a mission, but when you're home, like there's people around. They're doing stuff. Here it's like
Yeah.
everyone's shut inside.
Hmm.
But I mean, of course, that like, humans and many of the other races have a lot more trouble with the cold than you do.
Yeah. I suppose the first thing I would do is look for whatever might be a taller building,
Mm-hmm.
something that kind of attracts attention from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I noticed from the map there that on the south side there's a hill with some rectangles on
Yeah,
it,
right there. Mm-hmm.
and that would probably catch his attention first. So he might go up there and just have a look at what that place is.
Right. It does appear to be some standing stones that are look like they're a monument of some
Hmm.
kind, but you don't see any markers or anything to indicate more about it. There's no people there or any activity right now.
Hmm. Okay. From that little hilltop
Mm-hmm.
there, um, there's a building off to the west that looks important.
Well, so I think you are kind of spotting over there. From there, I'm actually just going to go ahead and fully reveal some of these labels. You can see
Okay.
from that elevated position that that building seems to be stables. There's livestock over there.
Okay.
And then you see, at the shore of the lake, there's a bunch of docks, of course. And then I think the thing that really catches your eye, though, is there is a two-story building that's pretty large, back over towards the coast. And what catches your eye about that is not so much just that the building is large, but there does seem to be people gathering around that one.
Okay. Then he'll climb down off the hilltop and head for there.
Okay. As you're making your way, are you just kind of following along the main street?
Yep. Just going down that main avenue that leads pretty much straight from the hill to the hall.
All right, so you are making your way in that direction. Make a perception check.
Okay. That's 11.
11. You are walking in that direction, and you're starting to hear the sounds of voices, and one voice in particular kind of trying to shout over a crowd, but you still can't quite make out what they're saying. But it's very quiet around you, which is why when you hear footsteps crunching through the snow behind you, not like immediately behind you, but maybe 20 feet away, kind of behind you and to the left, it stands out.
Okay. Um, yeah. At this point, by the way, I've got my hood back up.
Okay.
So, but yeah, just turn around to look. Um, maybe pull the side of my hood aside to be able to look in that direction.
You don't see anybody.
Hmm. All right. Keep going.
All right. Um, you keep walking, and after a little bit, you hear the footsteps again.
Okay. Um, it's even though it's daytime, it's dark. So I will once
Yeah.
again light up my staff and just fully turn around again and hold the
Okay.
staff up high to be able to see anybody that's back there.
All right. So you turn around. It's not that sudden because you needed to do like you did the command for your
Hmm.
staff, right? So
Right.
um, you hear as you're turning around what sounds like scuffling feet, like someone changing direction in a hurry and then starting to run, but you don't see anyone.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna head back and look for tracks.
Okay, make a survival check.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is,
Nine.
there are this is a well traveled road.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots of tracks, and you're not really able to find any that seem like they're brand new.
All right. Um, I'm feeling a little exposed out here on the street. So,
Well,
but I don't really
you're
know
only a
how
few
much.
blocks away from what looks like a crowd, so
Yeah. So I'm just gonna hustle the rest of the way.
okay.
Um,
You don't hear the footsteps anymore after that.
okay.
All right.
All right. By the way, on there's a an interesting spot along the way there. Is there anything special about that building? It looks unusual compared to the others.
Um, no, I mean,
Okay. All
so
right.
it's we can decide what the building is, but you know,
Okay. But it's not like a sculpture or some. It
no,
doesn't have a. Yeah. Okay.
it's nothing of particular note.
Okay.
Although it's shaped to fit a sort of awkward lot right at the branch point of two roads,
Okay.
but otherwise it doesn't look notable compared to all the other buildings.
Okay. All right.
But you're heading your way towards that big building where the crowd is,
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to pick up a little bit on what's going on. But in the meantime, we're going to switch back over to Doc Strider and Iggy. I think as you're both kind of finishing up your stew and listening to Ronaldo, the halfling, tell the same story to a different group of travelers. With some slightly different details to the story, frankly, if you're listening carefully. But then what you suddenly feel a chill draft because someone has just pushed open the front door of the inn, and you see them all bundled up in their furs and goggles and everything. But you hear a man's voice saying, "They're doing it! They're doing it now! If you want to watch, come see!" And then he's gone. And Bardaban shouts at him, "It's like, close the..." Goes over and closes the door.
Uh, doing what then?
Bardaban just kind of humps and says, "It's none of my concern."
Look to Ronaldo. Doing what then?
And he said, "You know, like I said, I knew they were up to something. I think they caught a criminal or something."
Oh, so this would be what, a trial then?
"Well, no, I think they're burning him. I don't know all
Well,
the details. I'd tell you otherwise."
Will, isn't that something then? Burning a criminal. Huh. I mean, I suppose people will do anything for entertainment.
Yeah.
And he gives you a nod like, yeah. So you do see that some of the other people there in the common room, though, do seem like, oh, well, if something's happening, I don't want to miss that, and start getting their clothing together and stuff.
Yeah.
Doc Strider will turn to Iggy and say, I didn't catch her name. I'm Doc Strider.
You can call me Iggy.
Can I? Well, I'm honored to do so then, Iggy. Um, I was just on my way to a tavern, kind of on the other side of things, but I think I may be passing by the amazingly entertaining criminal burning. You
Yeah,
want to walk that direction?
that sounds concerning, especially considering the amount of wood they would need to actually burn someone to death, which
Unless there's
might be
more work.
used for keeping other people warm.
Well, on that note, just for the purpose of discussion and world building, let me briefly show you a wider out map of Icewind Dale. So if you see, here's 10 towns, and got East Haven here. There are some forests here and there. So, like, they do have some sources of wood. You don't see a big forest there by East Haven. But if we go back to the city map, there are some, some minor areas before. But yeah, at the same time, what you know too is that wood is used for a variety of things, but also, frankly, what a lot of people use for heat is whale oil.
Oh,
Let me see.
yeah. All right. But anyway, yeah, I would if you will allow me, I would like to accompany you. I am currently kind of down on my luck. Possibly the inn will need someone to wash dishes
Well,
until I can find something better.
well, Iggy, I tend to be lucky myself, so perhaps it'll even out. And I'm heading over to the Wet Trout, just to see what kind of people are over there. But if you want to join me, I see you're armed. Just don't go pulling that on me, is all I ask.
For that matter, do you want to describe your sword?
Um, I never actually figured out what that looks like.
Well, so it's a long sword. Yes.
Yeah, it's a long sword.
Right. So, what I would invite everyone to, like, if I may,
Go right ahead.
this is an unusual looking sword. Like, its function is apparent. Like, it's not hard to tell that it's a sword, but it's of a design that seems strange. Like, the metal seems functional enough, but it's got a slightly unusual sheen to it. Like, it's not steel. It's like it's something else, but it seems to, hold its shape. You would imagine it sure looks sharp, but it has some strange sort of like strange etchings and patterns on them. That some of them seem like they're engraving, and some of them seem like they're embossed in a way that looks like it must have some sort of a function, but whatever its actual purpose is beyond you. It's got a lot of strange, fancy, like, accoutrement on the handle that it's a weird looking sword. I feel like to most of the people in 10 towns, you would say this looks like a sword made by someone who had only seen clockwork things and or weird ancient magic things, and had heard what a sword was and decided to make their own without looking at anybody else's version. It's overcomplicated to the point of being a little bit ridiculous. but
Yeah.
it sure looks like it would work as a longsword.
Yeah. Yeah. So no.
Does that work?
Yeah, that definitely works.
Okay. All right. So if the two of you get bundled up in your cold weather gear, I don't know if any of you, either of you, would like to describe what your gear looks like.
Well, like I said, it's you know, it's parka-like and probably long, and dyed this deep shade of green, with actual like nice embroidery along the edges of the sleeves.
Right.
In comparison, Iggy's looks like it's from several different kind of sets. They're whole pieces, but it's like they said, okay, well, this will fit you from this set and this will fit you from that set. And so there's no real kind of cohesion except for warm and probably various shades of brown or naturally like more natural colors rather than being dyed in anything fancy. And there's certainly no embroidery on it whatsoever.
All right. So as you both get all bundled up and then brave your way into the street, you can see that it is just started to get a little bit light outside. And when I say a little bit light, I mean it is still, mechanically speaking, dimly lit, which means that perception checks for sight are at a disadvantage, unless, of course, you have dark vision, which I believe technically both of you do, so it's like moot. But just to
Yeah.
describe for everyone what the setting looks like here, the most light you ever get is about like this. It's twilight. The sun has not peaked above the horizon, but the sky does glow a little bit where it would be. I'll also note that this is the end of what should have been summer. And so you can imagine that there's a little bit of, there's, Doc Strider, you know the date, and you know that it's 5 days away from High Harvest Tide, which is like the fall festival. And so it's one thing for the end of the summer under normal circumstances, but when you feel like you didn't get a summer at all for the second year in a row, the prospect of, and now it's going to be winter again,
Yeah.
is like, not to mention there's no harvest to speak of because there was no growing season at all this year.
See, what East Haven needs to do is develop a thriving ski tourism industry and just get all the people from the Southlands come up to vacation.
Yeah.
That and basement hydroponics.
Well, it's, too bad all those blizzards keep forcing all the caravans back at the pass.
Yeah.
But in any case, the two of you, go outside, and the cold, you don't want any exposed skin if you can help it, because it's just like getting slapped in the face. It'll take your breath away. The sting is immediate. If you were to spit, it would crackle and freeze before it hit the ground. That's how cold it is. Mm-hmm. And so you are, you have the breath, even through your muffled face covering, kind of clouds out in front of you as you make your way. And you had it pointed out to you in a bit of business that we don't need to role play, where the wet trout is, and that it's on the other side of town here. But as it happens, the town hall is actually between there and here, and so you making your way in that direction find that you are also coming up on what seems to be a crowd around the town hall. And as you are approaching this crowd, it just so happens that you end up standing next to a very large individual that, Doc Strider, I'm sure you know what Goliaths are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is one. Guess which one?
Well, he's carrying a staff with a glowing crystal on the end.
Yeah. So as you are finding that the road that you sort of would have been taking is, is largely obstructed by the crowd. But you also find that you're not in a hurry to push through because there's definitely. Hang on, let me find the. I'm going to share a handout with you. So, as you are approaching here, a crowd has gathered in front of the town hall to watch this public execution. You you see that this individual who has a long beard and is wearing a pointed hat with the wide brim, very much reminiscent of wizardly dress, has been bound to the stake and gagged. And then as you approach, members of the militia use torches to light the straw tucked around his feet. Fanned by the wind, the fire catches quickly. The man does not struggle or scream as he is quickly engulfed in flames. Bundled up spectators move closer to the human bonfire, eager to feel its warmth. And nearby, there's a man who has briefly lowered his face covering, and he still has his hood like up over the top of his head, but his face is a little bit more exposed, and he's standing there obviously in a position of authority, and he's just yelling out, it's like, now remember, we are not doing this out of vengeance. This is to show that we do not tolerate this kind of behavior in East Haven. We all know how this town was founded. We know that this is not a place where we judge people lightly. Everybody's got their secrets. But when there are people who are willing to put themselves at risk to help the town, and then individuals such as this man exploit them, murder them, that can't be tolerated. And so, it gives me no pleasure to end this man's life, but I hope that in doing it, we can all agree that we need to take care of one another. That's all. And he puts his hood back over and lowers his goggles and kind of seems like he pushes through the crowd and is stepping away.
Oh, justice is served, I guess.
I wonder what happened. That was all very vague.
As you're all kind of standing there, you suddenly notice that there is a woman that looks like she's maybe a half elf. She's also lowering her face covering as she approaches, and she seems to have some sort of kind of a militia badge. Mm-hmm. And she's definitely armed, and she approaches them and just says, welcome to East Haven. I know you're not from around here, but welcome. This is actually maybe not the best first impression, but it's intended to be an indication that we are friendly to adventurers around here.
Well, looks quite friendly.
Well, this piece of trash behind us was a wizard who hired a team of adventurers that had, in fact, done a lot of good turns for the city. He hired them to escort him out into some place in the wilderness. Apparently, they found this place that he wanted. And what does he do? Well, he murders them to return the favor. Kills them in cold blood, every one of them. We only found out because someone we sent people after him when they didn't come back.
Ah.
He used magic to try to disguise himself afterwards, but we caught him.
I suspect maybe he shouldn't have been wearing the hat.
Well, we're not that dim in the ways of magic. The disguise can work, but we're sharp around here. We pay attention.
Well, good to
You would
know.
you would need to.
So
So are the four
where
of you
does-
adventurers? Are you then? Confirm? And then as like the three of you kind of look, you realize that there is actually another half elf in acolyte robes, sort of like there's a acolyte tabard draped over the rest of the gear, and she kind of just goes, "Oh, me? No, well, I'm not with them. I was going to talk to them, but like then you came up, and I'm not actually with them. I'm not an adventurer."
Well, there you have it then.
And so you can see that this first woman who came up to you is almost immediately exhausted by that whole little performance.
Yes.
It's just saying, all right, so what I'm getting at is if you're going to be in town around, I'd like to get to know you a little bit, tell you what what to expect in East Haven, and we can maybe talk about what sort of jobs might be available for you. But I'd say let us get all this cleared up, and then maybe you can come and meet me at the town hall at some point. My name is Captain Arlagoth. I'm the head of the militia around here.
Wonderful to meet you.
I'm Duckstrider. This is Iggy, and this is Stilts over here.
my name is Marcher.
Marches on stilts. Yeah.
My name is Marcher. You work for Daneth Wayland?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he's the town speaker. He's gave the speech out there just a little bit ago.
I was told to find him, but if you work for him, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to make an appointment with him, the town hall's the place to do that. But I would not I'd say today's not the best.
No, it seems today is not a good day.
Yeah, this is. I don't want you to get the wrong impression. This is not something we do for fun around here.
No,
This was extreme circumstances.
it is. Mercy is a luxury sometimes.
Well, it's one of exceedingly short supply these days. What with the Frostmaiden's curse and all.
Right. I would like to come with you, do this adventurer thing.
All right. Well, so I've got a lot of a lot to do here, making sure this doesn't get out of control. But yeah, come see me at the town hall at some point. We'll talk about jobs.
We'll do that.
And we can maybe see about getting you to speak with Daleth. Daneth. But so then she kind of nods and then marches off, and the other half elf who had during all of that been standing kind of fidgeting, sort of shifting her weight back and forth from one foot to the other, occasionally kind of patting her arms like, whew, it's a little bit chilly. But she's clearly she's doing that thing where she's trying to be like, oh, well, you're busy, so I'll wait. And I'm absolutely being as quiet as a mouse and totally patient. And there's not any reason at all that you should have to be mad at me because I'm being very patient and I'm waiting for you to be done with your other business before I ask you my questions. That is absolutely the body language you're getting here, even through all those furs.
If you stand closer to the fire, it's a bit warmer.
Yes, well, that's true, I suppose. It's a little distasteful for me, but In any case, if you are adventurers, it seemed like you were interested in hearing about jobs. I have one, a job that is. If you are adventurers,
Well, I
Okay.
cannot speak for the other two, but I know I am.
I definitely am.
Can we head somewhere inside? Perhaps the wet trout, and
oh yes,
we
splendid.
could
I
come
actually
there as
yes,
well.
I have a table there. Actually, I've made arrangements. I have a lot of notebooks, you see, and I like to have them all spread out just so. And so I've got a table reserved. Actually, if you want to come with me, you can sit at my table. We can talk about the job.
Well, let's. Iggy, Marcher, you seem up for this?
I have some time available in my schedule.
Ha. Excellent. My name's Danica Graysteel, and yes, let's get out of the cold.
All right.
All right. So she leads all of you over to, the several blocks away over to the wet trout. And
And you said that she's a halfling, or is she a half elf?
she is a half elf also. I just realized it was a little bit awkward when both of those characters, the captain and Danica, were both half elves. I was just like, so I kind of, in order to try to have that not be awkward, I kind of didn't say half elf very much. So, in any case, yes, they were both coincidentally half elves. But as you make your way up to, the northeast part of town, there is this tavern known as the Wet Trout. Where is it? Sorry, there we go. It's located right near on the docks, and even though you have this place is like, it's in the middle of the day, right? The what little daylight time there is, you're kind of right in it right now. And there was a lot of people who kind of had come over to watch that the execution, and a lot of them are actually coming with you back to the Wet Trout. And as you kind of make your way in there, this is the sort of tavern where it's people get loud, people get very drunk. It's but there's this is a, like, I don't want to call it a dive, because a dive has kind of like this dour sort of connotation to it. This is the fun bar. You can tell it just has this, like, people are enjoying themselves even though it's got to be like 11 a.m. And there's a great big chimney squarely in the center, and there's hearths on either side. There's two big common rooms. You notice as you come in that there is a dragonborn behind the bar with white scales. She's clearly, aged for a dragonborn, but still pretty sharp. She nods at you as you come in, and when
She catches Archer's eye for quite a while. He finds himself staring, and then when she looks back and notices him staring, he looks away.
Okay, yeah, she does give you a little bit of a but you seem to be arriving with Danica, who she clearly nods in recognition, and so she doesn't otherwise interfere with you. And so you realize that there's there's a couple of people who are kind of just enjoying themselves. There's also one guy who seems like he has got, like, not the place of honor exactly, but it's the norm spot at the bar. Like, you can tell that, like, that's his seat. He's the one that sits there. No one else better sit there, and they couldn't anyway because he never seems to leave. That sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
like
the fixture.
Right, exactly. It's just very clear that that's like, oh yeah, that guy's a regular.
Yeah.
But Danica actually leads you over to a corner where she does have a table, and you can see that she has set up like little weird little stands with string. Like she's made like a little roped off section around the table that's just like with twine and just these strange metal stands. And sure enough, on the table there is just all sorts of books and notebooks that are all like sprawled out, so you can read from 7 of them at once.
That's
and
a very interesting setup.
yeah. Oh, yes, thank you. And she's like, unbundling because it's warm in here now. Now that you
Yeah.
have, you always carry in a little bit of the cold with you, but you're shedding it now with the roaring fires, and the the enjoyable atmosphere. She says, feel free to get a drink, but please don't set it on this table. We can scooch another one over if you need. But I just, yeah, you get it, right? Like, okay. So, do you need a drink or something? Are you ready or what?
Just
Whoa.
had breakfast, so I'm fine.
Okay. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's for all I know, adventurers just do drink all day. I don't know.
Well,
I would not mind something myself.
Okay, yeah, I just like I didn't want to judge or anything like that. I was just saying like whatever you need, it's fine. I'm ready when you are, but if you need whatever you need, it's fine.
Okay. Iggy will take the seat by the wall while the other two get what they want.
All right. So you make your way to the bar.
I'm kind of following the lead of anybody around me at this point.
Okay. Are you going to the bar, Doc Schreiner?
no, I'm staying
Okay.
at the table.
Okay. Well, so it sounds like
In
even
that case, so yeah, Marcher looks over at the bar and how that is all working, and then sits down at the table.
okay.
Nah, go ahead, Stilts. If you need something, go get something.
My name is Marcher.
Well, you can go get something if you like.
I'm fine.
All right.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
Yep.
my name is Danica Graysteel, and I am a researcher, and I am here in Icewind Dale. You know about the Frostmaiden's curse, right? You know the whole thing going on. I mean, it would be hard to be here and not know that, but you know that, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just as a note, like Iggy, you probably don't.
I would think that he would have asked the trappers. It's like, okay, so it's really really cold.
Right.
How much longer till summer?
Okay.
And they're like, this is summer, and I'm like,
Right.
what?
All right. So, well, for the sake of anyone who may be watching or listening who doesn't know, what you all know is that for the last 2 years, every night at midnight, there is this very strange magical aura in the sky that everyone is pretty confident is a magic spell being cast by the Frostmaiden, Auril, who is the god of winter's wrath, who, for her own ineffable reasons, has decided to curse the land of Icewind Dale and make it so the sun doesn't rise anymore. So lots of people are trying everything they can to appease her, make sacrifices on the new moon, and so on. So far, though, nothing's really working, and it's well past having become a real problem.
Is it so? The curse looks like the Northern Lights, or
Yeah, so the Aurora Borealis is the meta reference that we would understand just for the visual. In fact, actually, let me. I think I have I have a couple of handouts that I can give you just for looks. So this is actually a handout of the docks of East Haven.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, actually, in the background there, you would see that would probably one of those the docks on the far end would be where you are right now.
So it's not completely frozen over.
So this part is frozen.
Okay.
But the lake is not entirely frozen over. None of the three lakes have entirely frozen over because they are fed by volcanic vents
Okay.
underneath. So they are mostly frozen over, but not entirely frozen over. Certainly, all of the water on this map is frozen, and so the ferry that used to run, this East Haven ferry that was part of the the story, is definitely frozen to the dock and not running. But let me find. There's another handout that actually shows what this.
By the way, I'm still
Or
seeing
looks
the Icewind Dale map rather than the East.
Oh,
Haven map.
I'm sorry. Let me move everyone back over there. Yeah. So the
So all of these ships that are on this map are all just frozen in place.
yes, some of them are not frozen in place. Like some of them are on top of the ice
Oh,
because
okay.
what people do is drag them across the ice to where the water is.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not all. Everything you see on this map is ice.
Okay.
I was looking for. There's I'll find it later, but there is another. I have to. There we go. Yeah. So this is what it looks like when the Frostmaiden is casting her spell. And so yes, very much like the Northern Lights. And that happens at midnight every night. And so Danica has confirmed that everyone shares a common understanding about that. And then she says, so I'm a researcher, as I mentioned. I am an acolyte, if you will, and I am hoping that there might be a way to improve the climate and solve this problem, short of literally just appeasing an evil god. But there might be ways of improving the climate more locally. And are any of you familiar with the nature spirits known as chewingas?
No.
No.
I think, Marcher, I think you might be. It might
Oh,
be
okay.
something. Well,
Or maybe
and-
under a different name.
yeah. So I think you would know, even though you don't see them frequently, that there are sometimes these little tiny nature spirits that usually stay. Like sometimes they'll be curious and approach, but usually they're pretty shy and they just disappear. They're harmless, but you'll see them sometimes.
Okay. I know of things like that.
Yes, well, they have some degree of magic of their own that allows them to alter their natural surroundings. And I believe that studying them, if I was able to study one up close, I'm confident that I could gain some new understanding about how their magic works. But they are difficult to find, and as I'm sure all of you know, the idea of tromping into the wilderness to find them is dangerous in a way that I'm not really prepared for. Plus, I have a lot of other research to attend to, but if you adventurers could hopefully locate some chewingas and ideally bring one back for study, I would be so grateful. And of course, I mean, I can pay too. And I mean, I can pay, and I'm not asking you to just wander around till you find one. I have a thing. And she's like reaching like into a satchel, and she's like digging through it, and then she pulls out what looks like a lantern but it definitely has kind of a magical shimmer to it. She says, "This is a lantern of tracking. This one is coated," and she's like, you know, sets it on the table, and she like shifts some like panel around, and you can see that there's some runes on it. It's like, this one is coded to elementals, of which Chewingas are elementals of their type, and so if this lantern were to be within, let's see, hang on, I'm just trying to, oh, sorry, I'm trying to read where it says the specific range. If this lantern is brought close enough to some chewingas, it will light up. It will glow green, and you'll know that there are some in the area. But I have already carried it all around East Haven, and it hasn't shown any indication that there are any chewingas here. And I've just gotten all set up here, and you see, I've got the table and everything, and like the idea of just tromping off into the wilderness is quite frankly terrifying. So my offer is that I will go ahead and give you the lantern of tracking now, because of course you need that to try to find them. But if you are able to bring back a chewinga for me to study, I can pay you 25 gold, and you can keep the lantern.
Alive, I take it.
Ideally, I mean, I have no desire to harm the chewingas.
Well, the question then arises: is there some? I mean, can they be reasoned with? Is this something that you have to set out a trap for? Is this?
See, this is part of what I don't know. So if you want to take notes about their behavior and give me some, I don't have the first-hand experience with them. What I know is from books. So my understanding is that they are good at hiding. They can be friendly when treated with kindness. I am also not sure that if you attack them, that they would even leave a body behind to bring back. But if there are lots of trappers in town, they could manufacture a small cage if that would be necessary. But if you were able to befriend one and have it accompany you willingly, then of course that would be fine as well. But the key would be bringing it to me. And of course, like I said, I mean, if this can be done with only friendship and kindness, that would be ideal. But if you do need to catch it in the cage, I promise that I will not harm it, and I will release it, of course, as soon as my studies are complete.
What do you think?
Marcher is looking rather stone-faced at this. It's clear on his face he's not real happy with this, but he's also he's not making any indication of a veto either.
Okay. Would you mind showing me the books that you have on these? These
Yes, of course.
you called them chewinga?
Yes. Chewinga, and she. Here, let me pull up. Let's see. Yeah, so she. Oh shoot, they don't have it as a token. Hang on, let me see if there's a handout. Mostly what you would be able to see at a very brief inspection is more or less what she's already told you, which is that they are nature spirits. They, generally speaking, are very shy but curious. So frequently, what the types of encounters most people have had with them are either I saw it, and then it was scared of me and disappeared. Or I saw it and I thought it was really cute and it kind of approached me and then it like jumped on my head and rode me around for an hour and then it disappeared. But sometimes people will describe having them like showing them some degree of kindness and actually receiving like magic charms, like as some kind of reward. Some of the other people have also described them doing like mischief, but like it's harmless stuff. Like these are not dangerous creatures.
Right. Right. So is this something like you give it a bowl full of milk and honey and you make a friend for an hour?
Could be. That's part of what she wants to try to understand better is that uh, all of these books have accounts that feel anecdotal, and so even perhaps if she needs to see it with her own eyes.
Okay.
But she says that the hope is because they do seem to have some degree of magic that allows them to shape their own environment. She wonders if that magic could be understood better, and if that's understood better, maybe it could be employed.
Well, that sounds like a noble goal, at least.
So, for Marcher, like you're stone faced about this. Like, is there, like, did you have other questions about it, or you're just kind of not saying anything?
Is
She's open. Like, if you have any questions, I'm happy to. I'm just really hoping that uh, uh, this would be a big help, and who knows what it could lead to. It could give us some new insight about the environment in this area. Perhaps we can understand better why this is all happening, and if there is any way to at least try to gain a little bit more comfort during all of these hard times.
I am not happy with the idea of capturing one of these spirits. It is a good way to make them angry with you.
Oh
And
well,
you do not want spirits angry. I mean, look, you do not want things angry with you that have magic.
I don't.
But-
I don't.
But if we, it is not impossible that we might come across one and talk to it and see if it wanted to, say, have a conversation with someone who's nice and listened.
Well, yes, I'm not asking you to put it in a cage. I was just suggesting that if it's not cooperative, I would just like to inspect it in person. I have no intention of harming it, and anything that you can, I am certain that if you can convince it to attend you and come with you voluntarily, I mean that would be the best outcome for everyone. I think.
Well, we can try that. We can definitely try that first. And if it doesn't work, we can either come back and give you the lantern back and say, hey, we weren't successful, but this is what we observed. Maybe that would help out.
Yes, I mean, I think I could probably arrange for partial payment if you have good notes and insight. Ideally, though, a specimen, living, and happy. Ideally, yes. I will need the lantern back though if you are not able to find, because I just would have no hope of finding one on my own otherwise.
Understandable. Would you?
Yes.
We can see if we can find one and ask it if it would like to speak and educate a curious mortal on their ways and abilities, and if they would like to do that, then excellent. And if not, then
Ah,
perhaps just observations and likely areas, etc. And then you can ask someone else to try and capture one, which will probably be very misfortunate for them.
splendid. So, as I mentioned, I'm fairly confident that there are none here in East Haven, because the lantern would let us know. But if you can just perhaps travel to some of the other towns and just check on it periodically, and hopefully you will before too long uh, discover some, and then hopefully all of this can be a mutually beneficial arrangement for everyone, including the chewing gum.
Of course.
Okay, and look over at Doc. At Doc's, say, "What do you think, Doc?"
Well, I think that it's if it can help out the people around here, there's no reason not to at least give it a try, eh?
Yes, worth a try.
Ah, splendid. I think this calls for a round. I mean, that's a thing, right? That's something. It's to
For luck? Aye.
yes,
Yes.
yes, for luck, exactly. And so she will kind of bounce up from the table and hurry over to the bar. At which point she kind of points back over at you guys.
Out of curiosity, is there any music going on in the bar?
There doesn't seem to be right now, but it is getting more and more crowded.
Okay.
Like there's more and more people. You get the feeling that there's a lot of people who just really kind of hang out here all day, and that a lot of them went to watch the burning and now have come back.
So while the drinks are being procured, Doc's Rider will take out his violin and quietly start playing.
Oh, nice. You want to make a performance check for me?
Oh, sure, why not? What's the worst that could happen?
We have rotten food thrown at us, and we get thrown out of the bar.
Nonsense, nonsense. I rolled an 18.
Okay, that's pretty good. So here, I'll switch us to the happy tavern music ambiance here for a little
Happy
while.
Tavern music.
Yeah.
Yay.
So it does look like Danica has now gotten involved in a conversation with the bartender. So like, she she seems like a talker, and so she is over there doing that for a while. If you want to discuss anything amongst yourselves.
Yeah. All right. So I will turn to our new Goliath friend, new in the thing that he was not actually at the White Lady Inn with us when we were heading here, because both of you are new to me, and say, so you're looking to start a new life, and that's what brings you to town? Is that true?
Yes, that's accurate. Looking for opportunities.
Well, this is certainly one of those.
Yeah.
I still want to hear what the other woman had to say.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have basically nothing to my name that unless I can carry it with me. So, yeah, paying jobs and being provided with meals and drinks is definitely a bonus.
So you're a bit of a wanderer then.
Yes, it does seem like I have a lot of wandering ahead of me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little wandering so long as you don't freeze to death in the process.
Yes. I don't recommend freezing to death in the process. It is very, very uncomfortable.
I would have to agree.
So Danica is now listening to some sort of a whispered gossip from the regular at the bar. She seems to have gotten entirely distracted.
Okay.
Wander off, find an interesting bird, and then the next morning she'd be frozen solid.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Did she
I think
deliver
this-
that? Did she deliver that? We have that lantern now, right?
She left it on the table.
All right.
Yeah.
Then I don't think we need to worry about that anymore. How about we go back to the town hall and talk to that
We
woman?
should at least wait for our drinks. She said she was going to get them for us, didn't she?
Yeah.
It's for luck. It's traditional.
Yeah. Staying warm for just a little bit longer is definitely not a downside. But yes, I agree with you that we should head to the town hall after this.
Yeah, I would say for at least two of you, there's an element of like, gosh, if we're not staying here longer, we have to go back out where it's cold and we have to put all the stuff back on. And it's like, okay.
Put on the mucklocks.
So, is anyone following up like with the bar or?
I am feeling a bit like I'm very still taking everything in. So
Okay.
Yeah.
not Marcher.
Yeah. Looking a little bit overstimulated, a little.
A little, well, just there's a lot to take in and does not want to step on any toes, as it were.
Figuratively and literally.
Right.
Iggy will wander up that way.
Okay.
Are there any Goliaths in the room?
At least one.
Well, yeah.
Aside from Marcher.
Yeah. So I think, like, as we've talked about, there are some Goliaths that have come down and live in 10 towns, right? Like, it's not unheard of, but I think it's also not a lot, right? I don't think there's any in here right now.
Okay. So yeah, given that, he's definitely trying not to attract too much attention. So he's probably getting some looks anyways.
Okay.
So yeah, he's
A lot of the people here in the bar seem like they're not only excitedly sort of chattering about the burning that they saw outside, but it seems to have just sparked all sorts of gossip about any random rumors they've heard, lately, and just everyone's in that mood, talking about all of the weird and strange goings on these days.
Okay. What can Iggy overhear as he kind of wanders his way over to the bar to see about redirecting some attention?
Sure. Well, how about you roll a d10 for me?
Okay. Let's see. Come on. There we go. 9.
9. So you hear that as you're approaching the bar, you are hearing Danica overhear the tail end of a story that this regular at the bar is telling. He's saying, "Well, I've got it on good authority that in Targos, a band of adventurers is planning an expedition up the side of Kelvin's Cairn," which, I mean, I guess Iggy wouldn't know, but it's a local mountain. Hoping to find Oyan Minotaur, a Goliath lycanthrope, who can turn into a polar bear. I bet, hey, you. And he, like, points at you. He's like, "That's a fancy sword. You should try to join the expedition.
Good information. Do you know where they're starting out from?
Targos.
Targos.
Yeah. That's what I heard anyway. And then Danica like turns and she's like, "Oh, the drinks!" And then she like, fusses with the bartender who pours the drinks for the table. Everyone is getting they've got
Glog.
I was going to
Hot
say
glog.
they've got vodka. Yeah, vodka, I think. But yeah, so it's like little, smallish glasses, but it
big
does a trick.
bottles.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think you can probably come back over to the table with that. Is anyone else kind of listening to eavesdrop?
Absolutely. I mean,
Wow.
what's
Yeah.
the point of playing music if you're not eavesdropping while
Right,
you're
right. Okay, so go ahead and roll a d10 for me.
doing it? Okay, I will do that. I rolled a 1.
All right. You overhear what sounds like a couple of fishers talking about how they hear that in Bremen, on the shores of Maro Dwalden, which is one of the other big lakes, you certainly know it. But on Bremen, there's fishers getting terrorized by a lake monster. But it's weird and suspicious, they say. Only the Bremen fishers are getting harassed by it. And not the other towns that are on that lake.
So you
And
see
they
that-
think, yeah, they're suspicious. They think it's a conspiracy.
I think that it's 3 gnomes in a submarine.
Yeah.
Nessie.
So, what about Marcher? Are you kind of a little overwhelmed,
well,
or are you listening too?
Well, I'm listening, but if I hear did I overhear the name of the lycanthrope?
I think you probably wouldn't have heard it from across the room, but I imagine
Okay.
Iggy might share that information
Okay.
as she comes back.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go ahead and give me an overhearing.
All right, yeah,
He's
sure.
not engaging in conversation, but
Sure,
he's,
sure. Yeah, and I mean it's not hard to hear right now. That's all that people are talking about is all these weird rumors they've heard. So go
Yeah.
ahead and roll a d10 for me. An 8. All right. You hear, you hear this trapper who says that folks over in Lonelywood, they're getting attacked by a dreaded white moose. It's attacking loggers and trappers on sight, and the town's best hunters can't seem to catch it or kill it. It bit my sister.
Did it have an interspace toothbrush?
Yes.
I don't know, but it's a monster. It's wreaking havoc. It's destroying the industry, and no one can seem to catch it.
Where did you say that was happening?
Lonelywood.
Lonelywood.
And now I will just briefly, step back from the narrative one step to address the structure of this adventure, which is certainly to start extremely sandboxy, as you may have guessed. There are all sorts of little plot hooks and quest hooks all over the place. And I will warn you, some of them are pretty dangerous, especially for level 1. And so the only reason I mention that is not to imply that I am going to try to kill you, as much as I would encourage you to use discretion in whatever you encounter, because and not just assume that anything you meet is leveled appropriately for level 1.
So
Right.
what you're saying is climbing a dangerous mountain to go find a were-polar bear might not be our best option at level 1.
What I'm saying is not so much that you should specifically avoid anything, so much as if you start on something and it starts seeming dangerous, feel like exercise discretion. Don't just keep pushing forward with the assumption that it'll be fine, because it might not be. But
Yeah.
that's not to say that you should, like, I'm not giving you any hooks that are like for level 7 or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
just, so I'm just encouraging you to
Yes.
be aware
No.
that some of these encounters could be very dangerous and you should treat them accordingly.
Fair.
Okay.
But you don't know which ones. You might have to investigate some of them and see which ones seem more dangerous or less.
The one that shoots a fireball at us, that's the more dangerous one.
All right. So, yeah, I think at this point, Iggy, you and Danica return together with the round of this vodka drink. I think, in fact, Danica has thoughtfully gotten two for Marcher.
He pulls off his gloves, holds them. They look like thimbles in his hands, and looks around at everyone else, shrugs, and then sniffs it, and then just knocks the whole thing back. Ah!
I think you might notice Danica doing a little bit of a cocked head. I think you think she sees your head spikes. Like you have the hood up, I think, still, but
Yeah, I still have the hood up.
especially with you coughing a little bit, I think she's caught a glimpse of them. She doesn't say anything, but she's just like,
And actually, and maybe the hood came back a little when he knocked it back. And so everybody there at the table can see for a moment,
Yeah.
and then he pulls it back over, and then takes the second one and sips it a little more carefully.
Iggy will hold theirs out for a toast.
Danica sees you doing that, and then there's a beat, and oh yes, and she holds hers up too excitedly.
Okay. Tentatively, Marcher holds his out, looking a little confused as to what's going on.
A toast to a good research, good nature relationships, and
Success.
mutually beneficial business relationships, partnerships. Yes?
Yes.
May our enemies never find us.
Sure. I don't think I have any enemies.
No, they obviously haven't found you yet.
I guess not.
Yes. There might be some librarians looking for some of these books.
I see this full adventure party kick down the door. You owe 737,000 gold pieces. Pay up
Late
now.
fees. Give us
Alright.
the books and no one gets hurt.
That's right.
And so I think, once that all settles, she just kind of says, please at all don't take this as rushing you at all, but what is the plan?
Well, I believe Marcher here has some other people he wants to talk to, but after that, we'll probably put together a stay for the evening, and then we'll head off in some direction that isn't this town.
Excellent. So what I would say is, when I mean, as you can see, I'm pretty well established here. So I'm going to be here most days. So if you when you're ready to come back, you can find me here.
Okay.
Excellent. And thank you for the drinks.
Oh,
Yes.
of course. Wonderful. I do hope the lantern is helpful, and best wishes that you find a friendly and cooperative Chewinga.
Indeed.
So I think if you're all kind of packing up to leave, Marcher, I think there is going to be just a moment where you maybe take a tentative glance back towards the bartender and find her already looking at you, and she just gives you kind of like just sort of a slow nod of like, "Yep, I see you."
He gives a kind of a sheepish nod back. Looks like she's too busy to talk right now, so he's not going to. But he probably wants to look for her later.
Okay. I guess Iggy will take the lantern with them. Unless anybody else wants to haul it.
Yeah.
Not me.
So you do discover that this can be used as just like a regular lantern. You can put regular oil in it and just use it like a regular lantern. And the distinction just is that when you are within range of elemental spirits, it will glow green.
Okay. Does it require attunement?
No.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna use this little symbol just to. Oops, that's on the wrong
Layer.
layer, and it's also way too big. So let me just gonna use that to indicate where you are on the map at any given point. So you are just leaving the wet trout right now. Where are you
Headed
headed?
back to the town hall again.
All right.
Yep.
What was the name of that woman we were going to talk to?
Well, so there was the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? I think we've been going since 7, so I think this is probably a good opportunity for a quick break. Bio breaks for those who need them, and we can resume our adventure shortly in just a few minutes. And of course, those of us who don't necessarily need to take a bio break right now can just hang out.
What was the captain's name?
Yes, hang on, I have it. It was like McGrath. Yeah. It is Captain Imdra Argaloth.
Okay.
Is the commands the town militia.
Okay. I'm for once in my life I'm taking notes.
Well, especially right now, just because of the nature of this is that which quests you have and which you've gotten hints for and clues and so on.
Yeah. And who was the acolyte there who just gave us the lantern? I'll put that down in my notes too.
Danica Greysteel, I think is the last name. Sorry, I keep switching away from the different windows because they're all on the different things.
Yeah.
Danica Greysteel, yes.
Okay.
We I think once we got people moved into different spots when I think when James turned his camera off.
I will step away too.
Okay, great. I'm good for actually. You know what? While we're at a break, I might as well do it too. So I will leave you for the moment, Lee, to entertain the stream. Pressure's on. Spotlight. I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah. I am definitely not entertaining.
Okay, I'm on a very short break from the game, but all right.
All right, everyone is gone. But I'm back. There we go. So hopefully we'll have everyone return shortly. Um, so this is a fun start to get, just picking up all the side quests, so to speak.
Yeah, this is actually a little bit less sandboxy than I was expecting, but this is really nice. I'm enjoying this.
Good. Well, I mean, it's very sandboxy in the sense that, like, I am sort of guiding you to where you can pick up a lot of these clues, but really you can, like, you could choose to follow up on any of these rumors first, right? Like, in fact, just to discuss again the structure a little bit. Oh, there's a kitty.
Oh,
Ah, kitty.
yes.
The intent of this search for the Chewinga quest, for that matter, is like you have to travel around a bit to try to find one, right? So the intent there actually is to, to just discuss the meta a little bit. The intent is to get you to go to a couple of different towns and kind of learn what's going on in the different towns and explore a little bit. Like, that's the goal. In addition to the actual story stuff. But I just mean, from a structural standpoint, so my earlier warning, what I will also suggest is that you all are at your own discretion in terms of what you want to follow up on first. So, like, for example, if you decided that one of these rumors sounded much more interesting and you wanted to ignore the Chewinga search for a little while to follow up on that, like, nothing's stopping you. I'm presenting you with lots of little hooks, but you guys all decide which ones you want to bite.
My thought is that the Chewinga search can happen while we're doing other things.
Yeah.
Something takes us out into the wilderness. We take the lantern along with us. We need a lantern anyways.
Yep.
Keep an eye out for the green light.
All right. So you're heading to the town hall. Is everyone back and ready?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. There's actually a map of the town hall. So let's.
And I think on the way there, Iggy would have filled them in on the Kevin's Cairn.
Kelvin's Cairn.
Kelvin's Cairn.
Yeah.
Rumor.
So Kelvin's Cairn, let me just I'll show everyone on the Icewind Dale map.
That's near where the dwarves are.
Yes. And also, just to slightly correct something that I said that wasn't 100% right on the in our session 0. If we look at our overall map here, Kelvin's Cairn, of course, is this mountain, which, because it's top down, doesn't necessarily indicate it, but it's sort of a big, sort of singular mountain right there. The dwarves live in the valley, like not like underground, right? Yeah, but their caves are in the valley, not in the mountain itself. To correct what I had previously said. But yes, that's Kelvin's Cairn right there. And, right now you're down here in East Haven. And so if you share that, I definitely think there's a part of that rumor that would have perked Marcher's ears.
Yeah. Looking for the lycanthrope. You don't. They are ignorant at best. You don't go looking for him. Just. It is.
If I had to guess, it's probably a hunting party
Right.
rather than just a searching party.
Or it could be someone asking for wisdom of the bear or something similar. People are known to do all sorts of foolish things.
Well, he doesn't need protection from any of the sorts like us.
I wouldn't think so. He can turn into a bear. Bears are dangerous. Yeah, I heard some rumor about folks and fishermen in Bremen getting a chop, but seemingly only fishermen that are actually from Bremen, which is a little strange. But maybe it's a family vendetta. Maybe it's gnomes in a submarine. I don't know.
And I heard about a big white moose in the Lonely Wood that's making trouble. That is certainly worth looking into more than Kevin's cairn.
I'd be interested to see the moose and
hunting is I know how to hunt. That is something I can do.
That's
A moose I would not want to hunt alone, but that is something I am not I do it before.
Well, maybe we head out to Bryn Shander and then Targus and then head north from there.
But let's see what Indra Argoloth wants to say for us.
Of course. If we do end up in Targus, we've got accommodations.
All right. So, as you make your way to the town hall, we're going to have our first map, which should not necessarily be an indication that combat is going to happen as much as just there's a layout for it and everything. So
There will if we have anything to say about it. I mean, no, of course not. No combat.
So as you make your way in through those big front doors, this reception hall, this chamber is decorated with oil paintings depicting life in East Haven, including a large painting of the town itself on the north wall. Mounted on the south wall is a 5-foot-long stuffed knucklehead trout. Its wooden plaque bears an engraved copper plate that reads, in common, "Big Knuck, caught by East Haven fishers during the summer of 1479 DR," which is like 15 years ago.
all right. How big is that in comparison to Marcher?
Well, so normally a big knucklehead trout can be like 70 pounds. This one is bigger than average, but it still would be much smaller than Marcher.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be like 100 pounds, which is big for a fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks at it and gives a nod of appreciation. That is a good catch. Worthy of being on the wall. I hope they took the meat out before they stuffed it up there, though.
Probably.
I think they'd almost have to, wouldn't they?
It would otherwise smell bad. Where do we go now?
So there is a door here, and then there are stairs that go up to the next level. And so you can see the next level up has two doors that go in from the balcony.
Dox Rider will just call out, "Hello, ho, ho! It's here. We're supposed to be looking for an appointment."
There's not anyone just like at hand.
Okay.
But does
Iggy
anyone
will-
come in response to the call?
Well, so no, but you recall, the things are not entirely cleared away outside. So it's possible that the captain is still out and about doing business.
Okay.
You may recall she did actually kind of suggest, like, if you wanted to talk to the speaker, maybe not today, she was sort of implying she's doing a bunch of stuff right now and that you should talk to her later. And this might not be later enough, but I mean,
Okay.
the doors were unlocked or anything, so it's, but
Yeah.
no one has come to meet you.
Okay. Iggy's going to knock on this southern door.
Okay.
And just see if we can get the location of the captain or them.
Okay. Hang on, I'm just yeah, I'm just looking just to see if there's anything that it was gonna contradict me later. No, I don't think so. So yeah, you don't get any answer.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think anybody's in right now. He'll come up and knock on one of these doors. Or is it this one?
Yeah, so basically when you climb to the top of the stairs, you actually are going to be over here. Like, if that makes sense, you're on the next level up. So there's a door here and a door there.
Okay. In that case, I'll knock real quick on this one.
All right. Hang on. So Marcher, are you pushing through that door?
I was looking for where. I'm just following.
Okay. So yeah, if you're both going upstairs, I'll just drag you over up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, as you head up there, you go to knock on that door and it wasn't like fully closed, so it kind of like goes open. It's clearly not locked.
Okay. Okay, this I'll take a peek inside. Just to look around and get my bearings, and then I'll come back outside. It's like, yeah, no, that's an interior hallway. There would be no kind of reception room or anything in there.
It looks like they're not ready for us. Maybe we should come back later. This is not later enough.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Well,
let's see. So go back down. Actually, just real quick, knock on this door to see if there's anybody like behind it.
Yeah.
To answer questions, and if not, then just go back down the stairs.
That one also, the door kind of swings open, like it's not like latched. And what you see in there, I mean, it's sort of just a blank room on the map. But what you see in there is a room that contains wooden tables and chairs, and there are colorful streamers hanging from the rafters. And then there's a curtained window that looks down into that area below. If you go to that window.
Okay.
Yeah. So this room looks like to use a bit of modern parlance, it's the birthday party room.
Yeah.
It's an event space.
Yeah.
But so do you see the window that looks down to what would be some like other internal area of the building? Do you go over there to look?
Yeah, I went over there to look just real quick.
Okay,
basically I'm looking to see if there's anybody in there.
So what you're not going to see it on the map because it's just the different levels, but let me describe what you see through the window. In that room, low burning lanterns cast a gentle glow upon a tall black object in the center of this room. Although one could easily mistake it for a statue, the object is actually the figurehead of a ship and is carved in the likeness of a winged demon. The demon-shaped figurehead stands 8 feet tall. Shards of wood jut out of the demon's back at the points where the figurehead was attached to the hull of a ship.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, but obviously no people.
There's no one in there. It's a warehouse type room, but that's a notable feature. In fact, there's a handout for it. Let me share that with you all and show it on the stream and all. Where are these handouts? Here we go. This figurehead, I believe this one is called. I'm sorry. Some of these are not organized in the way that I would have ideally preferred. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. I kind of wish I hadn't shared that now. The woman is not there.
Yeah, okay.
So, that, except that not the woman, there's not a woman tied to it. So, yeah, I wish I had looked at that more carefully before I shared it.
Yes. Nothing to see here. Move right along.
I mean, just seeing the thing is already pretty ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's like, so through that door, it looks like it's a celebration space. And then on the other side of that, there's this weird winged demon prow thing. If you want to go take a look, go right ahead. But there's nobody here. So, Marcher, you're right. It's not later enough.
I will take your word for it. This is troubling. Why do they have a demon thing here?
Yeah, it looks like a figurehead that you put on the prow of a ship, and they just ripped it off the ship, or it fell off the ship, or the ship was destroyed somehow, and they've just got it sitting there. It's very strange.
Why would
No
someone
idea.
put a demon on the front of their ship?
Pirates, maybe. Otherwise, I don't know. Same reason why people used to put mermaids on the front of the ship. Scare people off. Oh, there's a siren.
So I think you hear a voice saying, "Hello, hello, were you looking for me?" And you look down back at that first level, and you see Speaker Wayland is there.
Yes. Marcher steps. Okay, I don't know what he looks like though. Oh no, he was pointed out to us.
I also have a handout that I'll share with you.
No, I just realized that we were
Okay.
the Imdra told us that was Daneth. So and since he did have his face exposed for a little bit, we can recognize him.
Yeah. So and this is the guy. He definitely has his he's still got some layers, but he's taken off the bulkiest of his outer weather gear.
Marcher it undergoes something of a posture transformation. Instead of hanging back and watching, he steps forward, goes right down the stairs, and just walks right up to him and says, "I am Marcher Northwind. My Sky Dreamer Rahi said to come and talk to you. I have left the mountains, and I am looking to make a name for myself. And she recommended I talk to you as the chieftain here, that I should talk to you about doing that."
Yeah. Yes. Of course. I definitely. I don't know Rahi well, but we have spoken on certain trade delegations. If she sent you to me, then by all means, let's meet. Come. And he moves around past here to go this way. We can talk through here. and would lead you into this next room. And he looks into like, is everyone coming or?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So he first, as you go into this next room, you see that it contains lots of rows of desks and filing cabinets, and there's a few overstuffed lounge chairs. This is clearly like administrative business office sort of thing, and there's waiting room areas, and so there's a few chairs in there that he encourages you to sit, and he pulls one of the wooden chairs from behind one of the desks over to sit. And just from a layout perspective, you would know that through this door would be that room that you saw before.
Okay.
But so do you sit?
Yes.
All right. So forgive my demeanor. I don't mean to be aloof or unenthusiastic. I'm sorry, did you tell me your name?
I am Marcher Northwind.
Marcher Northwind. You just came on a hell of a day.
It looks that way, but these days, they are all days of hell.
Too true. So, you wish to be an adventurer, is that it? You're looking for making a name for yourself?
Yes. Well, I have some talents, and he lights up his staff again. I have a little bit of magic, and I am an outdoorman. I can hunt. I can travel. Marcher is my name because it is what I am. And many things that need doing require going out into the snow, and I am good at that.
Yes, and these are your friends? Companions?
Oh. I met them today. They also seem to be in similar circumstance.
A pleasure. My name is Daneth Whalen. I'm the town speaker here in East Haven.
That one is... I don't remember their names.
Nice to meet you, Speaker. I'm Dux Rider, and this is Iggy.
A pleasure to meet you, to make your acquaintance.
Let me welcome you to East Haven and acknowledge the many layers of that welcome. One, of course, is the slightly sarcastic understanding that today is not the day that East Haven is shining its brightest. But also, we have need of adventurers. These are hard times, as we've said. There are dangers out there, and we're struggling to make it through as best we can, but just to survive, we need to send our fishers out onto the lake, and people run into foul creatures. Some people go missing. Hunters and trappers struggle even more than normal. What game there is to be found is harder and scarcer with the endless winter. We have need of people such as yourselves. But if there's a reluctance that you may also sense in me, it's just that the last group of adventurers I had meeting with here in this office were murdered by the wizard you saw burned outside. And I am... As much as we need help, it just feels hard to... I worry. I know that it's sometimes true that young people rush off into a life of adventuring for the glory, and they get themselves killed.
It's not an easy life. But it seems to be one that we are or could learn to be suited for.
One second.
I know. We were to meet with Captain Argaleth when she returned. I believe she is probably still very busy.
Yes. It's I don't care for the sort of spectacle that you saw outside. It excites the wrong element in the town, in my opinion. But that man, that wizard, Zan was his name. I don't think I've ever encountered someone that so thoroughly struck me as an evil person. And I didn't know what else to do with him. We couldn't let him go free.
Understandable.
And because he had taken to disguising himself, I needed people to see him die. So, yes, Imdra is out there, I'm sure, trying to make sure people don't get overly riled up. And of course, we have to clean up the mess.
I had heard a rumor, something about some fishers going missing. Did that have anything to do with that?
Well, people talk, I guess. The fishers is, no, the fishers don't have anything to do with the wizard. Well, I don't know. We have there's a crew of old drunks that go out and catch fish. They're, to be between you and me, they're terrible fishers, but they're good boys, and they've not returned for a 10-day now. I don't know what has become of them. I can't imagine it has to do with the wizard, but I don't know what else it might have been. There's so many dangers these days.
Well, maybe it's something that the rest of us could keep an eye out for.
Well, I mean, they usually go off. You know, they carry their boats along the southern coast of the Loch Dinishare. So, I mean, if you were to look for them, that's where they'd be. Hang on just a second. I'm trying to double check if you might be. Yeah. I don't think I have it in the town coffers right now to offer any kind of reward, but I don't know, adventurer types, you like the magic things. I do have a couple of things that we confiscated off the wizard that I could probably give you if you were to be able to. You know, after this long, I can't imagine they're alive, but if you could at least tell us what happened.
No, I think that sounds equitable, and even if it weren't, I mean, the boys out there lost. Someone has to go find them.
Well,
That sounds like an honorable thing to do.
Yeah, let's go take a look, because the captain isn't going to be here for probably quite a while, and we can go out, have a look, see what we can find, and then come back later.
Yes.
well, you'll probably need to borrow a boat, but there's plenty at the docks. I don't think anyone would begrudge you borrowing one for that purpose. You'll have to drag it along the ice until the place where the water starts.
Yeah.
But I'd just say be careful. Because, like I said, they weren't great fishers, but they were a rambunctious sort themselves. If something got them, it's probably dangerous. So, just be careful. I hope to set. I hope not to send another group of adventurers to their deaths, especially not today.
We will be
Understandable.
careful, and if it looks dangerous, we will not go further.
All right. So, welcome to East Haven.
Yeah, thank you.
So, is there anything else? Any other questions or?
No, you probably have much to do. We will be about this and see what happens.
Thank you.
All right.
Sir, heading back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. He doesn't follow you back out that way. He goes through here.
Okay. I as he goes out, I kind of look through the door past him and see if I can catch a glimpse of whatever it was that.
Yeah. So
That
I
was
mean,
what
I
you
think
saw.
if you're trying to be subtle about it, let's try a perception check. Like, I think if you just walked over and looked through, like, that would be one thing.
No,
but if you're
yeah,
sort of trying to
I'm
not
just
be
trying
obvious.
to not be obvious. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So I think if you're staying back enough to not be obvious, let's have a check. 14. Yeah, I think especially just based on what Iggy had told you to expect, you do catch a glimpse of clearly some monstrous-looking big black stone sculpture of some kind in there.
Why keep a thing like that? All right. At the very least, there is someone who needs finding. Let's see what we can do.
It's a good place to start.
All right. Okay, so if you're heading back out, so you're just going up to the docks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So, as we're heading there, Doc's rider will say very quietly to his companions, "He's not telling us everything."
Well, we are strangers.
There's something connecting those missing fishers to that, well, that figurehead or whatever it is. I don't know. But there's something there.
It's a long way from here to the ice, to the water.
And something to do with that wizard that they burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure that wizard is dead.
That's a good point.
He wasn't screaming. If he was already dead when they burned him, that's one thing. If they were trying to burn him at the stake to kill him, he would have been screaming.
There did seem to be a burned up body, but
Yeah.
certainly you are correct that he did not seem to react.
It's also possible that it wasn't really him.
Mhm.
The speaker keeps talking about how the man knew how to disguise himself real well. If you knew how to disguise yourself real well, would you wear a wizard hat when people are looking for wizards?
So,
So,
yeah, they could have put it on someone. Was he alive when they brought him out? And did he walk out, or was he?
He was already tied to the thing when you came out, but he was like looking around.
Okay.
Like you didn't get a good look, but it did not look like a slumped over corpse. It looked like
Right.
someone tied there, who just for whatever reason was not making a fuss about being burned at the stake.
There is definitely something going on here, but we will not we will not learn anything by chatting about it.
Are you kidding? That's how I
Under-
learned most of what I learned.
Among ourselves, at least.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see. You're right. there's probably nothing for us to learn about each other. Come on, let's see if we can find out anything about these missing fishers.
Yes. We can.
All right. So, you're gonna go borrow a rowboat and
Yep.
drag it along?
Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, is there anyone out by the docks right now?
I mean, you can see here and there. There's like isolated people, sort of bundled up, passing around. You do see what looks like a fishing crew, coming back. Like they're dragging a boat that's got a bunch of, gigantic red fish in it.
I think, Marcher, if you'd be willing to start dragging a boat, I think I want to talk to these kind people to see if they know anything about these missing fishers.
Yeah. And see whether or not they have a problem with us wandering off with one of their boats.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Yes. Go find that. I will see about taking one that does not look like it's going to sink as soon as we put it in the water.
Bonus.
Yeah. I mean, this town's primary food supply is people going out to catch fish with these boats. So like, most of them are in pretty good repair, like used, but lake worthy.
Okay.
But Doc Schreider, you're going over to talk to the other fishers.
Yeah.
You do get some looks like a little bit like they're in a hurry to get in where it's warm and get their catch in, and you're a stranger, and why are you coming up to talk to us? So there's a little bit of an attitude just from their body language as you approach.
So just GM wise, how much does one of these fish cost usually?
There's not like a specific price for them.
Are we talking
But like if we
silver,
assume
gold?
that they are 70 pounds, and then that's probably going to be like 40 pounds of food, that, like that's not insignificant. But of course, they're not selling them for gold. Generally, they're like, it's all.
The reason that I'm asking is because part of the approach is if things look like they're not going to be chatty, Doc's Rider is just going to hand over some gold and say, "I'm buying one of the fish. One of you take it home to your family."
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, absent any other specified price, I will say that they're usually sold by weight, but that an average one might be 2 gold because it's a lot of meat.
Okay, so I'm essentially bribing them with 4 gold,
Okay.
just so that they'll take a minute to talk.
Yeah, they are immediately have changed their entire demeanor. They are happy to tell you whatever you want.
Fantastic. So yeah, I asked them about these missing fishers and if they know anything about them.
Yeah, so what they'll tell you is, because they definitely know all about it, they echo the town speaker's assessment that this group of fishers is more like a social club than real professionals. They do go out and they do sometimes come back with fish, but it almost seems like they just enjoy each other's company more than they are really fishing for food. In fact, their boat is called the Bunch of Knuckleheads.
Fantastic.
And so they are worried about him, but it's also the sort of thing like, they've been gone 10 days. They're not coming back. Something happened to them.
Okay.
Like,
Alright.
if you can find them, that would be great. But, they're kind of just shrugging as like, but like, you're not going to find them alive, though. They don't seem to have any hope for that.
just sort of ask what direction did people see them going last, and
Yeah.
that's really all I'm
No,
asking.
I will absolutely. That's a good insight. And what I will do is briefly take us over to the Icewind Dale map. Yeah. So, obviously you're here in East Haven, right? The docks are really kind of more like on this sort of northwest coast. But then, so if you drag your boats across the ice to there, they said that they usually travel along the southern coast of the lake, and that in particular there's some cliffs right around there that they often talk about, thinking that there's good fish there, and yet
Okay.
they come back with like,
Nothing.
right, yeah, like they do not have like impressive catches or anything. So like, bragging about this great spot where they catch 2 fish.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's where they liked to go.
They drowned a significant number of worms. It was a good day.
In fact, they actually offer you, if you're going out to look for them, and especially with your bribe, they will actually say, you can use our boat, but do bring it back.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And kind of motion to Marcher like, okay, we got a boat.
I think there's also maybe a brief hesitation. Any of you actually know how to use a rowboat?
No clue. I'm eager to learn.
Yeah. No one has water vehicles proficiency, I assume.
No.
They said,
Otherwise, Bill's that.
okay, well, just beware the chop. It's this is rough. Can get rough waters when the wind blows down from the glacier.
Yeah,
So-
we were listening to the ghost story of the White Lady this morning.
They all laugh.
All right.
All right, so let's be about it.
All right. So, oops.
Marcher will haul a rope over his shoulder and start pulling the boat towards the water.
Okay. Let's.
He has got he's like, I am going to keep my ears open for signs that the ice is getting thin.
Okay.
You keep out an eye for anything that might be following us or looking us over. And Marcher lights the end of his staff again and kind of holds. He's got his left hand has got the rope over one shoulder. He's got the staff over the other, up high so that he doesn't cast a long shadow.
All right. So, you are all, takes a while. Marcher, Iggy and Dockstrider, you find that you lucked out having Marcher here because he's able to manage this boat almost by himself.
Yeah.
Like you figure he could do it by himself, and you help, but it's mostly him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm moral support.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
You're keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are making your way, and you drag it across the ice until there's water there, and I would guess that there's no rolls required, but there's a
Okay.
little bit of wariness, I would imagine, doing the actual shift from where there's ice that you're carrying a big boat on up to the point where you're dropping it into the water and getting into the water, and how thin is the ice right there. But you're
Marcher will hold it steady while the two of them get into the boat.
yeah.
It will cause him less problem to fall into the water than it will them.
Yeah. You all definitely get a sense that if you're going to do a lot of walking on ice, you might want to invest in crampons, which are little, boot cleats, so to speak, that you can buy.
Yeah.
But those are 2 gold apiece. So,
Yeah.
2 gold for a pair.
Yeah. Yeah, no funds.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So you head out and that along that way, and it's gonna take like it with Marcher doing some pretty powerful rowing, I would guess. You're able to make pretty good time, but it's probably an hour by the time you've gotten close to where you're seeing some of these cliffs. And as you're all just making your way through there, let's get some perception checks from everybody.
15.
15's not
18.
bad. 18. All right. You want to try there, Iggy, or you're just gonna let that 18 ride?
well, I'll give it a shot. We'll see. We'll see how well he does. 5.
No. Here's the thing. Like, the wind is pretty dramatic. Like, and so there is like, especially with the rowing, you're occasionally having to navigate around these sort of floating mini icebergs, and then there's woo as the occasional wave drifts by, and so it's a little much to kind of keep track. But Docksrider, you do spot there in the distance a rowboat bobs untethered in the water amid some small ice floes, not far from the 80-foot high cliffs that abut the shoreline. The mouths of 4 caves dot the snowy cliffside. One of these caves is at water level, and the others are elevated 20 to 30 feet above the frozen lake. The wind tearing through these icy caves sounds like moaning.
Hey, over there, look. There's a rowboat, an abandoned one. I bet you anything that's the knuckleheads right there.
Let's go look over the boat. If it's got a name, maybe it's written on it.
Perhaps.
So you row your way over there to find the boat, and sure enough, it does have kind of a faded, amateurish paint job that does say a bunch of knuckleheads on it. You also find in the rowboat 4 oars, 4 sets of fishing tackle, and a dozen empty bottles.
At least they were having a good time.
You do from there see that there's a few places near those caves where the ice does extend out again, and there are faint tracks on the ice leading to the southernmost cave entrance, which is the one that's at water level.
Okay. What you think? What kind of tracks are they?
Well, I mean, you're not over there now. You're just seeing marks that look
Yeah.
like they're probably footprints.
Yeah.
Right. This looks promising.
Right.
Let's go take a look.
All right.
So I want to take the rowboat is. You said it was unmoored,
Yeah, untethered.
untethered. All right.
Yeah, so it's just like floating free, but there's not a lot of current right here, so it just didn't drift far.
I want to, because these things are valuable. I want to tie it to our boat as we take it to the shore, and then I want to tie off ours when we get there on something, so that it doesn't drift away.
Right.
Well,
Do you have like pitons or anything to like pound spikes into the ice?
Yes.
Well, that will work then, if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah. Yep. So I will, point me at a good spot, and I'll see if we can't secure.
All right.
hey, out of the absolute purest optimism, maybe you should take out that lamp too. Maybe there's some chewinga about.
Okay, I'll take out the lamp and hand it over. Because I can't hammer a piton and hold the lantern
Sure,
at the
sure.
same time.
So I'm actually not switching you to that map yet because this first thing, there's not room for that on there. This is a theater of the mind encounter that as you're fussing with the lantern, you you are noticing that the twilight is still present, so it's kind of dimly lit outside. But certainly you know you don't have much more of that today. But
Yeah,
and you can
twilight.
figure out the lamp is lit, but it does not seem to be glowing green at present.
All right. All right.
All right, so we'll chuck that back in my stuff.
But then, as you are, tying the boats and looking at the ice right there, seeing what definitely look like footprints, you hear some sounds above you, and one of them is like ah, ah, and then one of them goes ah,
Uh-oh.
ah, and you're rolling initiative because 2 harpies are flying down to attack you.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And harpy handout.
Oh, you're at a 5.
All right.
Whee! I got an 8.
I got 11.
Okay, let's get a turn tracker. Hang
I
on.
love the cheerful music in the background.
Oh, you know
with
what?
the-
Yeah, I should have changed. I should have changed that for the.
Oh no! Leave the cheerful music. It'll
No,
be-
no. No. So how
Darn.
about this? This is a good one. This has some music too, but not. It's not cheerful per se. All right, so let me put some tokens just on the map to. We're doing theater of the mind, but I just so I can track initiative. Harpies. Well, there is a token for that. I was looking for it earlier. Anyway. Okay. Okay. So obviously this is just to show on the map. They're not. We're not doing actual tactical map layout. So that was a 5 for Marcher. Docksrider.
11.
Okay, Iggy.
8.
All right. And let's see about the harpies. They 20. All right.
I could do.
Yeah, happens. It's not. It's oops. Yeah, I got a double on there. So it's not a surprise round because they did hear you first, but one of them does as suggested is singing their luring song. So I need all 3 of you to make a wisdom saving throw.
18.
Oh my God! The song and the music and the ambiance right now.
Yeah.
That's a total coincidence. I did not plan that, but it's amazing.
Got an 11.
That is a success.
11 is a success?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm happy.
Awesome. 17.
17 is also a success. Docksrider?
Oh, I got an 18.
Oh, okay, great. So you all succeeded at that luring song, and it looks frustrated. But the other one has swooped down to attack. I think it thinks Docksrider looks sort of the easiest target. So
Tastiest.
yeah. So it's making one attack with its claws and one with a club that is holding in its hand. So that's a 14 to hit with the claws.
Let me look at my AC here is. That will hit.
Okay. That's going to be 5 slashing damage.
Okay.
And then the club is only an 8 to hit.
That will miss.
Okay. So that is the Harpy's turn this round. So next, Docksrider, you're up.
Dox Rider from the blow kind of drops to one knee and cries out, and then looks at the one that hit him and makes this like weird. It's like he's saying something, but no sound is coming out. At least not to anyone except the harpy.
Okay.
I'm casting Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. So it makes a saving throw, correct?
Yes, Wisdom 13.
It gets a 4.
Okay, so I will do 3d6 damage. And so that is,
I assume this is the one that has just swooped down on you.
yes,
Right.
12 damage, and it immediately has to use its reaction to move as far away as possible from me.
It does. It flies 40 feet away as it shrieks and flies away. All right. Iggy, you're up.
Long distance weaponry, Eldritch Blast.
All right. Which one are you attacking? The one that Doc Strider just whispered at, or the one that was hovering back and is trying to sing?
The one that's trying to sing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and make your rolls. Or I guess it's just one roll at level 1.
Yeah, it's just one
Yeah,
roll.
Yeah.
All right, 18
18 definitely hits. Yeah.
for 8 points of damage.
All right. Her song ends with a furious squawk.
Just startled my cat.
Oh no!
Poor kid.
Apologize to Langston for me. Yeah. So I think, yeah, that hits. Marcher, you're up.
I'm going to use a ray of frost on the one that flew away.
Okay.
Um,
What's the range on Ray of Frost?
60 feet.
Okay, great. That works.
Got a 15.
Hits.
Okay, that's a D8 damage. Got an 8.
Nice.
Nice.
And its speed is reduced by 10 feet until my next turn.
Okay.
Nice.
That means it can't get back to you without dashing because it had to move its whole speed away
Yeah,
the last time.
That was a nice combo there.
Yeah. Although now that it's their turn again, that one that flew away is not the one that tried the song last time, so it's going to do its own song. And then it plays on the ambience too, just right there. It's perfect. It's amazing. Magical. Okay, so that's another wisdom saving throw from each of you. Because you're immune to the other one, but not that one.
Got a 12.
All right.
Got a
21.
17.
You all succeed, so you are all resisting the siren song of these harpies. The other one doesn't like that, and let's see. It's going to go down and attack Iggy because Iggy's the one that hit it with Eldritch Blast. So we're getting a claw attack first coming at you. It's a 7, probably doesn't hit. Yeah. And then it swings its club at you for 18.
That does hit.
Yeah. So it slashes at you with its talons and kind of misses wide, but then is able to, do a backhand swing with its club that cracks you on the temple for 4 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, yay. Oh, dudes, we need a cleric.
Yeah. All right. So that's the harpy's turn. It's now Doc Strider again.
All right. The one that just thwacked Iggy, Doc's Rider points at it and tells a joke. I'm not coming up with anything really amusing at this
Okay,
moment.
that's fine.
But I'm casting Tasha's Hideous Laughter on it.
Okay, great. It makes a wisdom saving throw.
Difficulty 13.
14. It gets a 14.
Okay, so it
So
does nothing.
it starts to
Everyone's a critic.
Yeah. All right, Iggy. This thing's actually just right in your face. It just hit you with its club.
Okay, I'm going to draw my longsword and poke it with the pointy end.
That's how you do it, I'm told.
That is a good choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
let's see it.
overcomplicated sword-shaped thingamabob.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can actually poke it and hit.
All right.
24.
24 definitely hits. Yeah.
Not a crit, unfortunately.
Well,
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out which one is the actual damage. I think it's 1d8 plus 3, right?
I mean, I don't have your sheet up, but I could check.
Yeah, because I've also got green flame blade damage as well.
Well, did you cast that though?
No.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
because it's...
Yeah, you have to cast that as the spell, and well, okay. Green Flame Blade is a cantrip that allows you to make an attack, so you could do that.
Right, but the... No, it's because the if the other harpy was closer, I probably would. But
Okay, you tell me. I'm waiting to hear how much damage you do.
okay, 7.
7. All right. Yeah. You slash out with your sword, and you hear, just at the edge of your awareness. Good. More. All right. Marcher.
Marcher. I've been debating about what exactly to do. Marcher is going to cast another ray of frost at the one that's flying in.
Okay, the one that's right by engaged with Iggy right now.
Well, there's one that's engaged and there's one that's not.
There's one that's 40 feet away, and then there's one that's engaged.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shoot at the one that's 40 feet away.
All right.
Um,
All right.
14
Hits.
and another D8 damage. 4 points.
All right. Yeah. So once again, that one is slowed. It is their turn. That one that was slowed and 40 feet away stops singing, and it does try to swoop in to you, but you can see that its wings are trembling with this cold, and it's not able to control itself very well. And so it does not dash to get in right next to you, but it does swoop in to be just 10 feet above you, or 10 feet away, hovering off the ground. I guess technically it's not hovering, it's swooping, but for the for the sake of the tactical abstraction.
Right.
But the other one is engaged with Iggy, so it's going to keep attacking there. 17 to hit. Yeah?
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, that's going to be 4 slashing damage.
Oh, dude, I'm down to 1 hit point.
Oh no.
Well, now it gets to attack with its club.
Oh no.
It crit.
Oh no.
Okay, so that would only be 6 total, which would certainly put you unconscious, but does not
Yeah. it does not
instantly
become an
kill
instant Kill. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, what are your total hit points at this level? I mean, it's
9.
It's 9. Yeah, so you're definitely not instantly killed, but you are unconscious.
Okay.
All right, and that is both of the harpies this turn. So, Doxrider, you're up.
Okay. Well, not a whole lot I can do other than start screaming random curses at the one that just took Iggy down, casting Vicious Mockery.
Okay. It's another wisdom saving throw, yes?
It is.
19.
Okay. I do nothing.
Ah. Okay. Which of these looks more hurt?
The one that you've been ray of frosting that's 10 feet away. They're
Okay.
both hurt, but that one's more hurt.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I need maximum damage here. I'm going to pull out my crossbow, drop my staff on the ground. I don't have the time to put it away. Drop my staff on the ground, pull out my crossbow, fire it.
Okay.
Don't have quite as good a chance to hit with it, but it does a little more damage. 13.
Hits.
And I'm just going to click the D8 here, but there's got to get a +1 on this.
Okay.
4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. All right. It is still up, but it is looking pretty hurt.
Ugh.
So then so it is the harpy's turn again. And you are, let's see. One of them swoops in at you, Marcher, because it doesn't like how you keep ray of frosting it, or crossbow bolting it for that matter.
Yes.
So 16 to hit with the claws.
I'm going to cast shield. So
Okay.
so that makes my armor class 19.
You have boinked
Yes.
the attack, and then the club is just a 5, so both of those miss. And then the other harpy that had just knocked Iggy unconscious is also going to swoop in and try to help her sister, which she does not, I think, realize that that's not tactically smart. So like Christiana know that it's not optimal, but she wouldn't know. So that would be 17, but that's with shield still.
Yep. Still, 19 with the shield. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So both of those miss, and they're frantically scrabbling at this magical shield that you've erected around yourself. So both of them are ineffectual this round. So Doc Strider, you're up. Wait. So we need one death saving throw from Iggy for that last round.
All right. That's just a D20, and it
Just a
has to be
D20.
10 or higher.
Correct.
I'm going to go ahead and do the roll in the chat.
All right. That's a 2. So that's 1 failure. All right. So Doc Strider, you're up.
Okay, since we're theater of the minding this, does it look like grabbing Iggy and dragging him into a cave would be putting him out of the immediate danger?
Well, both of the harpies seem focused on Marcher right now, so they don't seem interested in the double tap. They're trying to eliminate the threats first.
Okay.
But I mean, I think you're farther away from the cave entrance than you could get on one round.
Okay.
But I think your assessment right now is that they are focused on taking down the people who are still up, not in finishing off the ones that are down.
Okay. Doc's rider yells out, Stilts, kill those bloody things! Right now! You got it in you! Go kill them! And I'm going to give him a d6 of Bardic Inspiration.
Nice.
Okay.
I think that's just a bonus action, isn't it?
Let me see. Let me check my character.
I'm pretty sure Bardic Inspiration is just a bonus action, so you can still do your
Bardic
own
Inspiration
action.
as bonus action. You are correct. So then I will once again try Vicious Mockery on one of the harpies.
Okay, one of them looks more hurt than the other. Which one?
Well,
do you
then
wanna...
the more hurt one.
All right. So it makes a Wisdom saving throw and gets a 9.
Okay, so I will do a whopping 3 damage, and it takes disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Okay. So it is still up, but looking pretty wounded.
Okay.
Iggy, that's a time for another death saving throw.
8.
Oh,
Eh. All right, so the that makes it Marcher's turn.
Marcher now they're both right up on top of me now, right?
Yeah, they're both like scrabbling at you.
All right.
I think you knocked them back a little bit with the shield, but they're
All
right there.
What I'm going to do is okay. I want to. Okay, the theater of the mind part makes this a difficult move. I want to. I'm going to use ice knife.
Okay.
Okay. But the thing is, it's got a 5-foot radius cold damage that is going to kill Iggy if she's in the.
No.
If they're in the,
So don't imagine, let's not worry about that. Like, if what you want
Okay.
to ask me is, can you get Ice Knife on the 2 harpies without getting Iggy? And I will say yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to use my last spell slot. Going to cast Ice Knife at the more healthy one.
Okay.
I rolled a 15. I shouldn't need the Bardic Inspiration to hit with that.
It does hit.
It takes a D10 of piercing damage from being hit by the knife,
Okay.
which is a 3,
Mhm.
and then each of them has to make a Dex saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Okay. So
Roll
first, the
the-
one that you hit first gets an 11. And then
Okay,
the other one gets 15.
Okay, so the only the one take phooey, just 4 points of damage.
So the first one fails.
The one that there's no half damage for succeeding, so it's just 4 points to the one that failed.
Right. So they're both looking pretty injured right now, but they also look like they're like desperate.
I rolled crap on those.
Happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I think that the more injured one is going to come in and make their attack, but they're at disadvantage for the first one. So
Are they at advantage on all their attacks or just the first attack they make?
I think it's just the
I
first.
believe it's just the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 13.
13 misses and my armor class is 14.
Great. So then with the club, crit miss.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely
Whoosh.
no good on that one. The other one though, 22 to hit
I will. Okay.
for 6 slashing.
I'm going to use my Stone's Endurance to negate a D12 plus 2 as a reaction, and so
All
I that one slashes into my coat, but does not hurt me.
Well done. And then a 5 with the club. So
That misses.
all right. So excellent use of that ability. You just tough it out. Ah, I can take it. All right. So that's the harpies. Doc Strider.
Okay. So both of the harpies are still up, right?
Yeah.
They're both still up.
Okay.
One. Yeah. I mean.
I am going to take my axe and chuck it at whichever one looks more wounded.
All right. That's yeah. I mean, they're both kind of engaged right now, so it doesn't. I mean, the one that's more wounded.
Yeah. And I got a 14 to hit.
Hits.
All right, excellent. And I did 3 damage.
All right. She's really hurt, but not down. Okay, Iggy, you feel right now like there is a turn of fate on a knife edge right now, but in this oblivion that you currently find yourself swimming in, different than one you've known before. You hear a familiar voice in your head saying, "Get up!" And I think the other two of you see Iggy's body suddenly like seize. And Iggy, you have 1 hit point. You're awake.
Okay. Yay.
So you do have to stand up, but you get your turn.
Okay, awesome. I am going to use my. I'm going to remain on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stand up because that seems to attract their attention.
Yeah.
But I am going to use my healing hands and take 1 more hit point. So now I have 2.
All right.
I don't know if that's.
I mean, mechanically, like probably 2 isn't really any better
That's not
than
going to
1.
make much difference.
But
yeah.
I know, but
it's your character. You do it how you want to do it.
Yep, yep.
yeah, let me have the comfort of 1 extra hit point,
Yeah.
please. And let's see.
I
do
think-
I have any.
I think let's flavor that a little bit as the 1 hit point you had didn't feel good. It didn't feel healthy, like a healthy hit point. It felt
Yeah.
like forced on you and unnatural. And so I think the extra 1 was a little bit more like, no, this is actual life, not what that was.
Okay. And as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Hexblade's Curse on the one that is most healthy.
Okay. Do they do anything when you cast that, or you just?
The target is cursed for 1 minute. The curse ends early if the target dies, incapacitated. So it's a good thing I didn't do that already.
Okay.
I gain bonus damage rolls against the cursed target. Any attack roll I make against the cursed target, and if the cursed target dies, I regain hit points equal to my warlock level plus my charisma modifier.
Okay.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. So you do that curse, and it is cursed, and it is a cursed harpy now.
Yay, cursed harpy.
Marcher, it's up. You're up.
Another ray of frost.
All right. At the more injured one, I would guess.
At the one that she cursed.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I don't think you get any bonus for that, but yeah.
No, I don't. But if it dies, she gets hit points.
True.
I got a 12.
12 hits.
6 damage.
All right. Let's for a moment just revisit the Hexblade's curse and to say, what does that look like, Iggy? Do you have thoughts? What does it look like when you do it, and what does it look like to the cursed? Like, what does the cursed creature look like?
I think what it looks like to me when I do it is just an image of the sword kind of superimposed on them. So it's like the actual Hexblade, that image is superimposed over them, and I think maybe their vision kind of grays out or reds out, like for an instant. So they know something has happened, but they don't know what.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it visible to anyone else?
I would imagine that it is.
Okay. So now what I'm imagining is like in a video game, there's an icon of a sword hanging over their head and kind of twirling around. As in this one, please. Yes, here.
Yes.
Like there's a spectral image of your sword that's kind of like dancing around it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so it is the harpy's turn. I think that the one is going to continue to attack Marcher because they're having trouble doing that, and no one else is doing a ton of damage to them right now. 12 to hit with the claws.
That misses.
And 8 with the club. That's no good.
That's no good.
The other one. No, I think they're both doing that.
Okay.
The other one has a moment of pause, like, should it do something else? Like, what just happened? But, I don't think it thinks you're... So,
Yeah.
it's a 19 to hit
That hits.
for 8 slashing.
Oh,
Yikes.
ow! I'm still up, but
Ooh,
ouch.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's see about the club. 11 to hit. So that misses, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
Bounces off harmlessly.
All right. Yeah, so, Harpies! Doc Strider.
Okay. With a bonus action, looking to Iggy, saying, "You got up just in time. Now kill one of those fuckers." And I'll give her also a D6 of Bardic Inspiration.
All right.
Okay.
And then I will try Vicious Mockery again on whichever looks more wounded.
All right. And makes the wisdom saving throw and gets an 11, which fully
So
fails.
I actually do damage.
Yeah.
Yay. That is 2 damage and disadd on its next attack.
Right. Okay. So it is. It couldn't take another one of those, but it's still up.
Okay.
All right. Iggy, you're up.
All right. Or down, as the case may be.
Yeah.
All right. So Eldritch Blast on the cursed harpy.
Okay.
Let's see. I get cursed target +2 to damage rolls. So let's see if I can hit this sucker.
Don't forget you have Bardic
Bardic
Inspiration,
Inspiration, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to use it.
Well,
because I only got I got an 8.
too. Okay. Yeah. So roll the d6.
4, which brings it up to 12.
That hits.
Alrighty, so D10, 7 plus 2 is 9.
Oh my God! It's almost down. One of these has 1 hit point. The other has 2.
Another ray of frost at the one she's got the curse on.
All right. That hits.
8 damage.
It dies. It suddenly starts, like, it tries to flap up away, but it's just shivering too much, and then it shivers, and then it just kind of lays down and stops moving. And you get your temporary hit points as you feel its life force be absorbed by your Hexblade's curse.
Oh no,
And
I
she
regain. I regained that's healing. It's
Okay.
not just temporary.
Well, excellent then. Good for you.
And also, she can switch her curse to the other one.
No, you have to be a
I
certain...
think that's the Hex spell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
But it's dead. And so the other one sees that happen and realizes how hurt it is and moves to start flying away. And so I think it is going to try to dash away, but I think Marcher, you can get an opportunity attack on it.
Okay, I will swing my staff at it. It's not my best thing, but I might.
I think you
get it.
had your crossbow.
Ah!
You had your crossbow.
Well, I can't- First of all, I've been casting spells, and that requires the staff, so I swapped.
Oh, okay,
back.
okay. That's fine.
And yeah, I swatted it with the staff.
Okay.
We'll say two-handed, and 1 point of damage.
1 point? All right, well, it is now 80 feet away with 1 hit point. Doc Strider, it is flying away as fast as it can, extremely wounded. It's 80 feet away.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have anything that can reach that far. I think the answer is no. Yeah, I don't have anything I can hit it with.
All right, Eggy?
I have. I can try and hit it with Eldritch Blast, but as far as melee, can I hit it with? I do have a light crossbow.
I mean, it's 80 feet away. You tell me.
Yeah, the
80?
range is 80 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I'll give it a shot.
all right.
And that's 12.
12 hits. And it only has 1 hit point, so
Yeah, and I did 8 points of damage to it.
yeah. So I think as you level the crossbow, as it's flying away and away, and then it sort of seizes in the air, and then I think it actually drops into the water.
Do you think that those fishermen, if they're still in this cave, will survive another hour if we have a rest to bandage our wounds?
Certainly.
Let's
I
take
definitely
a
think
short
so.
rest.
I'm thinking that moving into the cave so that at least there's not any wind or anything like
Yes, we can do that.
All right. I will put you on the caves map then. Well, first of all, let me delete the tokens here that are.
I can get my curse back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not my 1 hit point of healing, though.
Yeah. So, as originally described, but now we've moved away a little bit, there's a cave entrance at the same level as the at the water level, and that's where the tracks went. But then there's also three other entrances that you would have to scramble up a little bit of a cliff face to get to, and that includes there's a 20-foot high one, and then 2 that are 30 feet.
Well, we're going into the one that's at ground level to start
Right.
with.
So
Yeah.
as you're moving into the cave, it is totally dark, unless, of course, Marcher's doing his light thing, which, yes?
Yep. Marcher's definitely turning on his light spell.
So remind me what's the range on that?
20 feet.
20 feet bright and then 20 feet dim?
20 feet bright, 20 feet dim, yep.
Okay, so I'm adding that to your little token. So once I hit save changes here, the light given off by your token. And so those of you who have dark vision on this map will see what the green tint is probably what you see.
Mm-hmm.
That's to indicate you're only seeing that with dark vision.
Okay.
All right. So I'm trying to not have my previous screen reveal too much, but you can get in to the wind, out of the wind there. Let me briefly describe as you are entering here. As you look into this cave, the howling wind is blowing through, and it sounds almost like an old woman's moan, like, and you feel like there's enough of a draft that, like, if you had just like small flames, like a candle, it would just blow them out. And it's very slippery ice here on this cave entrance. You feel like you're gonna, if you want to try to move quickly, you're gonna need to make checks to avoid slipping and falling prone. The ceilings are very high in this tunnel. They're about 30 feet high, and you can see ahead of you that there are some places where moonlight is peeking through holes at the top of the caverns.
Oh, were it not for the murderous bird women, this would actually be somewhat nice.
Oh, can we take a short rest here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the plan. Okay. What I'm
Yeah.
actually going to suggest, and I'll ask you how you feel about it, is that it is almost 10:30, so this might be
Yeah.
a good place to go ahead and close the session as you take a short rest there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
All right, so you can go ahead and complete your short rest. I think you are not disturbed during that time, other than just this moaning wind doesn't let up. And it is, of course, cold, but it's been cold, so.
Okay, I'm gonna roll my hit dice before
Sure.
we.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll just leave it off as for you to continue further into the
I get
caves.
4 hit
or
points
not.
back.
Yeah. Or, you can choose, to either head further in or not, however you decide when
Yeah.
we return
Yeah,
next time.
yeah.
Although, when we return next time, we will actually not be starting with you all. We will be starting with our other 3 party members who are going to have their own sort of little introductory stuff before the 2 group and join forces as a group crew of 6, and we'll be back to do that next week. So we'll be back for more next week. So stay warm, everybody.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So thank you for listening and/or watching. We'll be putting the VOD on YouTube and releasing audio podcast version of this, and we're hoping to have this be an ongoing campaign. So thanks everyone for checking us out, and we'll be back next week.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.